Sherrock, the storm keeps coming.
Beautifully done by Bo.
It is ball left. You are right, Rhian. You are so right, Rhian. As easy as you like. There is nothing sweeter than a repeater for Deta.
Pruim to double up her tally. It's 2 for 2 for Vicky Pruim. She gets the better of Lorraine Winstanley.
It's bullseye for the match. And she hits it. What a shot indeed.
Game shot and the Modus Super Series Week 9 champion, Bo Greaves!
It's history for Bo Greaves.
Yeah, welcome along to finals night of the first ever Women's Week here at the Modus Super Series, and what a week it has been. We've seen some dominance from the top two, but all the other ladies have certainly stepped their game up as well. And one of them is with us tonight, Laura Turner. Didn't quite make it through, but still got to go to the ball.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, it would have been lovely to be back here and playing. I really enjoyed the experience, but at least I get to be up here with you guys.
And Scott Mitchell, you've been here for most of the week. Just give us your impressions of what it's been like, the first one.
I think it's been a massive thing for the ladies' darts, and I think we've showcased them really well, and they showcased themselves, and we've seen some magic games, and I think everybody's enjoyed. The viewings have been up on YouTube, so hey, we've got to have another one, haven't we?
Absolutely. Laura, let's just get this bit out of the way. Let's talk about your experience this week. Look, Thursday was a day to forget, but some positives on Friday.
Yeah, and actually, going even Thursday, there were positives I could take out of it in the way that, I felt comfortable on the stage. I felt like I settled into it because I've never done it before. I mean, I'm much comfier sat up in the comms box. But yeah, just to get that first win under your belt, because I kind of came here, thought it's just another stage that I'm just not going to win on. So to actually come up here, get a win, that was great, and then back it up with another one.
Yeah, and we're just watching that winning moment now, a bit of relief there. I'm sure you've felt those moments before, Scott, when you've sort of come with a purpose and it hasn't quite gone your way, but eventually just get that monkey off your back. Yeah,
absolutely. I had a very similar experience to Laura on my first occasion. It's very different playing here than it is being sat up in the box talking about it, and yeah, you're just desperate to get here and get your first win, and the longer that goes on, the more difficult it is to come. But I found this place a lovely place to play. It's my favourite stage. It's my favourite place to play, and yeah, I loved it. I just absolutely loved being here.
Right, let's talk about the players that have made it. Here are the 6 finalists here at Women's Week. Bo Greaves, Fallon, Sherrock, many had penciled them in before a dart was thrown. Vicky Pruim and Kirsi Viinikainen both making it through. Deta, Hedman and Rhian O'Sullivan, 2 very experienced players. Laura, you'll know all of them quite well. Are you surprised to see any of them there?
No, absolutely not. I think that you could have made cases. I mean, Lorraine Winstanley I thought was really unlucky. I probably had the same kind of first day experience as myself and just not getting that win. Came back, really narrowly missed out just on leg difference, but I called Kirsi beforehand as well because I see what she does on the tour. I mean, not so many people may have known about her, but she's played for a very long time, and as has Vicky Pruim, all those women played very, very well and deserve their spot.
We'll recap how they all got here, starting with Group A, and Bo Greaves was the dominant force in it, losing just one match. Actually, it was against Kirsi Viinikainen, but Scott, she was irresistible at times.
Absolutely, I was watching those bits from home, and I was actually lucky enough to play in the week that she won, or unlucky enough to play in the week that she won. And she came here and she was very open-minded about it all, very laid back about it all, and that's the way she seems to play the game, Laura. It just suits her. Coming here just suits her. It took our time to get her here, finding the dates. But once she's got here, she now absolutely loves it. And I don't think we're ever going to stop her coming here. She's going to be emailing. She wants to come back.
There seems to be every week at the moment, doesn't she, Bo Greaves? And let's not forget the achievement of making the semi-finals of the entire series just last Saturday.
Yeah, of course. I mean, she picked up that win, which was, it was historic in itself. No woman had done that before. So she's lifted that, come back again, as you say, in Champions Week. And it was narrowly edged out by Harrison as well. It was a 4-3 defeat. It could have very easily have gone the other way. So, yeah, to come back again on consecutive weeks, top Group A once again, I mean, there aren't enough superlatives to quite describe how good Bo Greaves is.
Yeah, she's played some absolutely fantastic stuff, as we're seeing right now, but also some record-breaking stuff. We could just look at some stats now. You'll enjoy this, Scott, because Bo Greaves, she is the 3rd highest average in a Group A campaign ever on a Modus Super Series week.
And that's just astonishing as well, to think that she's only came here sort of 3 weeks ago for the first time, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like you say, she loves the place. She really feels at home. She's had a good chance to feel at home, but to get up there amongst those players, and how many weeks have we been here? How many men's groups have we had here? And then just to have one women's week, and she just pops her name in there at number 3 in the highest average of Group A. It's just astonishing and phenomenal, really.
Be honest, were you happy that she lost one? Because you've got a 14 out of 15 record here as well, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. She's on the same stat sheet as me now, so I'm right at the very bottom because I lost a lot more legs. But yeah, I'm happy to be on the same stat sheet as Bo Greaves at any point in time.
Right, she didn't have to play Thursday and Friday. Group B and Group C were played over those 2 days, and this is what happened in Group B. Fallon Sherrock, she also lost a game, actually beaten by Vicky Pruim last night, but it was a pretty dominant display from Fallon in Group B.
Yeah, and she just kind of picked up where she left off in Group A. She was unlucky, and she just ran into, as we mentioned, a very, very strong version of Bo Greaves. So I would have expected to see her at the top, but it's good to see she's being pushed. I mean, again, Vicky Pruim maybe not a name that most people are aware of outside of the kind of darting world, but she is another formidable player. She's represented her country for many years. So again, doesn't surprise me, those results. So I guess it was always quite hard to pick who wouldn't get through as opposed to who would.
And she really seemed to up her game for the evening sessions this week.
Yeah, she really did. I think she settled in nicely. Like Laura's saying, I've known her from sort of World Cups and Europe Cups with England, and so she's a new name to some, but certainly not to us. And she has the experience. So experience you cannot buy. You have to have it. You have to have done the hard yards and the miles to do it. And she came up here and just settled in lovely, and we saw the better Vicky. We really did.
There were 1 or 2 players, Laura, that couldn't make it, the likes of Lisa Ashton, Mikuru Suzuki, enabled opportunities for others, and a couple of them have gone through in this group. Tell us about Vicky Pruim, because she's in really good form at the moment, but I'm sure you've had your battles with her over the years. She's been around a long time. Yeah,
there was one very painful one where last leg decided to see who qualified for the World Championships many years ago, and Vicky just got the better of me there. So we definitely have had a few battles over the years, but like Scott was saying, she's got that experience and she really has brought it to the fore. I mean, she's coming here off the back of winning one of the ADC tournaments as well just last weekend. So in terms of how she is as a player, she knows how to win. We might not have seen her in so many of the larger competitions picking up those big trophies, but she knows how to win, and she's a very determined player, and it's great to see her hitting her form at the right time.
And Scott, the other one, Kirsi Viinikainen, you were here last night when she qualified. She was so overwhelmed and emotional after that.
I don't think she realised the situation. I think she's admitted that she did not realise that if she won the game that she could get through. She thought she was out. And then, Owen, I think, turns to tell her and said, well done, see you Saturday. And she was like, excuse me? I don't think she realised the what that game entailed. Would she have won it had she have known? That's the question for me. That would have been immense pressure. But she didn't have any of that because she wasn't aware. So sometimes it's best not to look at the scoreboard and just come up here and throw your darts.
Well, speaking of not looking at things, Laura, cover your eyes now. Group C table is coming up. And look, you managed to lift yourself off the bottom after no wins on Thursday, a couple yesterday. But just give us your sense as to how the top 2 played, because they were on it from the beginning, weren't they?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, Rhian, again, she's one of those players that I spoke about when we were in comms on Monday in Group A. She's another just formidable player, in my opinion. Welsh team captain. She's a 2-time runner-up, and that was because of the dominance of Trina at the time. She really did bring it in Group C, and she just showed what she could do. Same with Deta. I mean, you talk about experience of Rhian. I mean, where do you start with the experience of someone like Deta Hedman? So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see him there. I think they were pushed at times, but, the top 2 doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, fellow England captain, of course. Lost the first match, as Laura just mentioned, then won 9 games on the spin. Deta Hedman brings her into tonight in really good form, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think she had the advantage of being here on the ADC thing and winning that. But for me, she was really, really special. It would easiest thing to do was come up here, lose your first game, kind of lose your head a little bit. But she knew she had to graft. She had to get on and graft. You couldn't sort of get all worried about losing that one game. She had to put her head down, put the toe to the metal and go. And that's exactly what she did. Some of the games she only just got by and scraped by, but that's what Deta does. She does whatever each game needs. If it's a grinder, she'll grind one out. If it needs to be blasted out, she'll blast it out. And that's just how Deta plays.
I do want to ask you about playing Rhian O'Sullivan because she is so quick. If she plays well, those games can be over in a matter of minutes, can't they?
Yeah, you can get caught up in a whirlwind. I mean, and Bo's the same, actually. I know she's not quite as big a speedster, but again, just because of the high scoring, you blink and it's over. So yeah, it can be difficult, but I'm quite lucky. I like that pace. I actually think playing in a pacier game brings out better in me, but it does not work for everyone because you can totally get enveloped and just lose your pace. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it.
I couldn't think of
pace.
anything worse. I couldn't think of anything worse. Fast players, ban them.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite your style, is it? Let's have a look at tonight's groups then. The players are separated into 2 groups. They'll all play each other once, and the top 2 will make it through to the semi-finals. And look, Bo and Fallon, by winning their groups A and B, are in separate groups. Everyone's still thinking it's going to be that collision course, but who can you see being the spoiler in those groups?
Absolutely any one of them. I really genuinely believe that. I mean, we saw with Kirsi Viinikainen, she missed match starts on Monday to beat Bo. Then she did find that one win over Bo Greaves, the only one that Bo suffered this week. So Kirsi more than capable, but so are the rest.
I think it's also a case that both Bo and Fallon know that the other 4 are capable. So they are on their mind as well. It can happen the other way around, a reversal. So I think that they both know that those 4 are more than capable of turning them over if they don't play their A game. It really is that simple.
They certainly are, but for the purpose of this, it'll spoil our next little feature. So let's just talk about Bo and Fallon for a moment and compare their stats for the week. Now, there's a bit of a discrepancy here, of course, because Fallon has played more matches. But the difference there for Bo, in terms of the average, in terms of the amount that she's lost, it is quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. It is quite big, but I do think that, those extra games do make it very difficult to keep your average right up there. If we selected Fallon's averages at the same amount of games that Bo had, we could probably select the averages and put Fallon above Bo's average, to be fair, because she did do like a few ton averages in the middle of the week. So,
and that high average as well is pretty similar. So they've both got an incredible level that would be good enough not just to win a women's week, any week, which Bo's already done, of course.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the thing for me with Bo and with Fallon, to be fair, is their consistency. They can actually find that level and consistently play at that level. And when that happens, that's a big kind of... it's very hard for the other women to breach that because you'd have to be at the top of your game and then probably 10 points more to actually deal with them. So, yeah, it is interesting when you put them side by side. But I always think the hard bit is getting here. Now it is completely, this is cutthroat. This is, you do it tonight or you don't do it at all. So that has another element to it as well.
Right, let's have a look at the betting. This is how the bookies see it, and they are going with Bo Greaves as a strong odds-on favourite. Fallon Sherrock, second favourite at 9-2. Everybody else exactly the same price. As Laura was saying, anybody could cause that surprise, couldn't they?
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that as well. I really do, and I think that it's just one game. It's one game, and the format is short. It's not the longest of formats. If the format was first to 5, then the advantage probably goes to Fallon and Bo massively. But by keeping it short, anybody can win those short games. If you've just got to make one mistake, one silly mistake, and then the next leg make 2 silly throws because you've made a mistake because it's still on your mind, and the game can be gone.
Who's going to win this evening?
Bo.
Laura, as a player in this tournament, it would be unfair of me to ask... No, I'm being totally silly. I'm going to ask you for a prediction.
I wanted to sit on the fence like those odds, if I'm honest, because, but I can't disagree. I just think Bo's level and her, just the way that she can play at that consistent level, Bo for me. But it wouldn't surprise me if someone else wins. There you go. There's my fence sitting as well.
Well, I hope you both enjoy it up in comms. Certainly both dressed for the occasion. By the way, can we just get a look at Scott Mitchell's shoes? They are incredible. Look at those. Bobby Dazzlers from Scott Mitchell. I can't believe you turned up in trainers. That's a sackable offence, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, see you next week.
He'll be back. They'll both be back in comms, and the action is about to get underway. Bo Greaves is taking on Rhian O'Sullivan in the opening match of the evening. And before play got underway, I spoke to both players. Rhian, long week. Just give us your feelings about how you've played and how it's been for you this week.
I think it took me a couple of days just to settle in, to be honest, but happier with my form. But again, doubles are, I'm not quite at where I can play, but I've enjoyed every minute of it, yeah.
You had a fantastic day, particularly on Thursday, won all 5 of your matches, and did show everyone that you could be a danger tonight. How are you feeling going into this evening?
No, I hope it's going to be a good game, or games, and see how it goes.
You've got a lot of experience in darts. This is something different, the first ever Women's Week. Just what's been your general sense of this tournament?
I think it's progression for the ladies' game, and I think I'm all for it. So and hopefully there's more and more opportunities for us to grow in our game. So.
And difference tonight, obviously we've got a bit of an audience in. It's a chance, a real celebration of the ladies' game as well, but there's some very good players there. You're one of them. How much are you going to enjoy being up on that stage tonight?
Yeah, I think it's more of what we're used to, a bit more crowd, and I think you've got to be switched on or you're not going to do anything tonight.
And one last question, because it has been noticed how quick you throw. How can you be that fast and that accurate?
I don't know. I thought I've slowed down a bit, but I don't know. No, that's just how I've always played, so
Well, it's
a mystery.
it served you well so far. Good luck tonight.
Thank you so much.
Bo, back at the Super Series on a Saturday night. Must be a bit of a familiar feeling by now.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good it's what you aim for at the start of the week, so it's nice to come back after a few days off, and I'm looking forward to it.
A little bit different to the last two times you've been here. Of course, this has been our first ever Women's Week. As the dominant player in ladies' darts at the moment, how big of a deal would it be for you to win this?
Yeah, it'd be great. I think it's nice that they've put a ladies' week on for us, and hopefully can have a few more opportunities down the line. But it's just nice that we're all sort of just mixing a bit better, and it's nice to see some good darts has been played this week. So yeah, we'll see what happens tonight.
How would you assess your own performances this week?
I played decent. I think I've been steady. I think it's just trying the consistency of it all, just putting it all together. But I'm not going to knock myself for it. I mean, I've played some good stuff, and yeah, just pleased overall.
And have you had a chance to take in the rest of the girls battling it out Thursday and Friday?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it the other night. It's just, I think as well, it's just nice to sort of watch it. I think a lot of the ladies just want to do well and want to prove themselves a bit. But yeah, I'm a big fan of ladies' darts anyway, so kept an eye on it, and yeah, there were some good games last night.
And back to tonight, obviously last week, brilliant performance, got to the semi-finals. To get the chance to come back the following Saturday and maybe get your hands on the trophy, what would it mean to you?
Yeah, it'd be great. Obviously a little bit disappointed last week, but it's just darts, innit? You never know what's going to happen. So I'm definitely going to have to play well tonight to, like I say, get the trophy. But I'm up to the challenge, and hopefully I've got a bit of luck on my side, and I'm stood there at the end of the night.
Enjoy it. Good luck.
Thanks, love.
Beautifully done by Bo. And she gets the better of Trina Gulliver.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. She didn't even have to go for it. And she gets it with a fabulous ton-topping check out of 103. But she finds a way. She always finds a way.
It's 7 Hedman for Greaves. Double 16 for the comeback win. And Bo Greaves, once again, is impeccable.
Yeah, who else could open the show on a Women's Week final? Bo Greaves takes to the stage, having dominated Group A and 1 week on from her Champions Week exploits, where, of course, she reached the final four of the entire series in Modus Super Series 7. She now is looking to get her hands on the trophy at the first ever Women's Week. Greaves, still just 20 years of age, has got a whole host of titles, including 2 World Championship crowns. The Doncaster darter takes on the Welshwoman Rhian O'Sullivan, twice a runner-up in the World Championship. And on Thursday here at the Super Series, she won every single one of her 5 matches. She could give Greaves a game here. Remember, it is only a race to 3, and talking you through all of tonight's darting duels are our darting duo of Laura Turner and Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris.
Bo to throw
Don't think I could have said it better myself, Scott.
Game
what
on!
an opening match we've got in front of us. A repeat of what we saw at the WDF just back in 2023 in December. And to me, it's an exciting one. As we were saying at the top of the show,
60.
I do think that anything can happen in this short format. Bo has been the dominant force. It's undisputable, but anything can happen.
Yeah, I think the format is perfect for this situation. Some will say, yeah, we want to see more legs from the ladies, but I think that would probably favour the top ladies, which is not a wrong thing to favour the better players. I get that, and you shouldn't have said it because of that. And what a start from Bo Greaves. That 180 did not take long.
60.
No, and I do wonder how much she's benefited from having those couple of days off. Bo obviously topping Group A. She does get the luxury of kind of sitting back and watching throughout Thursday and Friday, and I think it can be really beneficial, especially when you look that Bo's been here for 2 consecutive weeks.
55.
Yeah, I mean, I know how hard it is to do a Group A and then not get through and then drop into a Group C or a B. It is a tough week. And then making the finals night as well. So 6 days on the trot is quite difficult. It is that's Pro Tour territory. That is. It's not what us humble human players do. You know, it's we're not used to that. 180 back from Sullivan. Lovely, jubbly. This is really even Steven here. Doesn't she look focused, Bo? Really focused.
Yeah, good to see. Good to see as a spectator. Perhaps not so good for the rest of the field.
87. Bo required 25.
Pressure applied from O'Sullivan. But this is something that this young lady doesn't seem to feel is pressure. A nice 25 kill for a 17 dart opening leg.
Second leg, it's Rhian to throw first. Game on.
And I wonder, I mean, we've seen a lot of 3-2s over this whole week. And I do wonder how big having the advantage of throw
45.
will actually end up being.
I think the shorter the format, the more advantage it is because you have less chances to break. It really is that simple. And I think it is going to affect how it goes. The way that Rhian got here, obviously she was in that Group C with her and Deta were ding-donging all the way down. And
60.
Deta's first loss was Rhian, and Rhian's loss was Natalie Gilbert. So, yeah, it was one of those, and it came down to a head-to-head between them in the end, which is the way you want to settle any group stage. But we knew at that point that the winner of the group would avoid playing this first game against Bo. But what it did do is winning the group put you in Fallon's group on the other half. So was it any better?
Yeah, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, really, isn't it?
37.
And they're the slips that you just can't afford to have. You could see the reaction for Rhian. She knows.
But that just comes under the pressure of she left a double after 15 darts, and against 80% of the women's field, you're going to get back at that. But not with Bo.
121. Bo requires
Good response there from O'Sullivan, but you feel the way that Bo started off, this 70 is going to go. Needs tops.
50. Rhian require 113.
Narrow miss, but again, you feel this one has to go for Rhian.
$93. Bo require 20. Game shot.
And this is what she does. She just does not take too many darts at a double. And that's how you get those averages. It's not having 5 and 6 darts at a double. I remember back in the day when Phil Taylor was dominating in the PDC, and I remember an interview with Shane Burgess. And Shane Burgess said, yeah, Phil gives you a chance. 146, 158, 164. And this is a very similar thing. It's what Bo and Fallon, to be fair, do to the rest of you girls.
100.
Yeah, 100%. And that comes with its own pressure, because then when you do actually have an opportunity, when you do have a shot at the double, and we saw it from Kirsi Viinikainen in that first day, had 2 darts to beat Bo, and that, like I say, brings an additional pressure because you don't normally get that many chances.
No, absolutely not.
100.
I do say I am a big Rhian fan. I've known her for a long time now, and as you said, she's lost out in the world final twice to Trina when Trina was dominating. 93. But I think Rhian has refound that type of form. I think she's gone away for a couple of years or whatever, but now she's right back in there, and she's right up there. You know, she's doing these things. You're seeing the averages in the women's series and stuff. She's right there. She's a very determined Welsh lady, and I like the way she's bounced back. And maybe it's because she's got a bit of sponsorship now, and that helps her out and makes her feel more confident. But whatever it is, long may it continue, because she's right up there again.
Bo require 114.
So 14 tops for the match.
94.
It's almost like you called this. She's got a chance. It just happens to be a 160.
Well, you know, it's not my first rodeo. Didn't want to bring a horse sort of reference in there this early, but yeah, fair play.
Yeah, double 5. Yeah, pulls it low, so
no score.
Ops to
Rhian
bust.
require 119.
And yeah, the 41 leaves that awkward 119. And that's for the reason why. Once again, she's left a double, and just be fingers crossed whether she gets back, but I think we know the answer. And there is your answer. So our opening match this evening goes with the bookies' favourite, Bo Greaves. She wins 3-0, 86-7-1 and 82-7-6. Rhian was there and thereabouts, and as we said on the build-up to the show, slight mistakes are going to cost you in this format, and that's exactly what happened for Rhian. We're going to head into a short break, and we'll be back after that with Fallon Sherrock versus Kirsi Viinikainen.
Welcome back. So the first game goes with the throw, goes with the bow, so to speak, Laura. Dominant stuff, kind of what was expected. But there were little chances in there, as you and Scott were discussing, for Rhian O'Sullivan.
Yeah, there were. And even towards the tail end of that last leg, it was just a few mistakes from Rhian that just cost her at least an opportunity at the leg itself. But, you know, it's a good start, 86, 82. I mean, I think it's just the dominance of Bo that actually maybe makes the opponents look like they haven't performed as well as they have.
And this shorter format this week should lend itself to more volatility. So to still be that dominant really says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it really, really does. And I know that, you know, as I said, there's a lot of words that we can use to describe Bo, but she got it right in her interview. It's consistency, and especially in this kind of short format, it's cutthroat. So she knows that, and she came out with a lot of focus.
And Fallon Sherrock's coming out next. Just quickly, in that practice room, what will it be like for Fallon and the other players to see Bo starting like that? Does that change their approach to the evening at all?
No, because I don't think it's unexpected, if I'm honest. I think, we know what levels Bo's actually got, but so's Fallon, and so is the rest of the field. So I think they just need to focus on their game, their own game. And for me, I saw it very much when Fallon went into Group B. There was a more determined, more steely focus, because then she knew, this becomes last chance saloon, and this is very much, the last chance if you want to lift that title.
Absolutely. Right, we'll get the next game underway. I'll let you head back to comms. It is Fallon against Kirsi, Viinikainen, and I had the pleasure of speaking to both a little earlier. Kirsi, you've made it to finals night. Just sum up, first of all, how you felt when you realised you qualified last night.
I was so surprised because I really didn't know that I could qualify that I could make it for today. So I was really surprised. And
we could see you became quite emotional. Does it mean a lot to you?
Yes, it does.
How do you feel about your performances in general this week? How do you think you've played?
It have been a good games and also not that good games. And I have not reached in that level. I do know I can play, but have been anyway in a good experience, and it's love to be here, and I really have done my best what I can.
Part of the first one as well, the first Women's Week we've had here at the Modus Super Series, and obviously part of the first finals night. Now, last week we saw a player from Sweden in Andreas Harrison win the Champions Week. Tonight, I know you live in Sweden now as well. How big is it? Oh, you don't live in Sweden anymore?
No, not anymore.
You did live in Sweden?
I did, yes, for just a couple of years.
How big would it be, or how big is it for darts in that part of the world anyway, to see players like yourself, Andreas, doing what he did here? How much more interest are you getting in darts in that part of the world?
It does. And it is really important that it's coming also in Scandinavian and out of there, people and playing and showing that they can play also a good darts.
And just finally, your thoughts on tonight, first match against Fallon Sherrock. Difficult group it's going to be on a finals night, but how are you feeling? Excited, nervous ahead of this evening?
Yeah, exciting, also nervous, but I'm gonna do my best. That's all I can do, and we'll see.
Well, good luck. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Fallon, another finals night here at the Super Series, but one of the difference, the first ever Women's Week we've had. Just sum up how you felt the tournament's gone.
I think the tournament's gone very well. I think, a lot of women showboated, what they can do. Yes, there's been a couple of players that hasn't, kind of reached their potential. But for a, first week doing it, I think overall it's been really good. And I think the publicity behind it's been great.
And how would you analyse your own performances this week?
Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed my performances this week. I think, like usual, I start off in the week okay, and then use Thursday and Friday, and just kind of my game increases a little bit. So yeah, Thursday and Friday's performances, I'm a lot happier than what I was at the start of the week, but I always use kind of the whole week to kind of build up for tonight. Yeah,
the first 3 days of Bo played really well, and then Thursday and Friday, as you say, you played really well. Everyone thinks there's this collision course between you and her in the final. Is that what you're expecting this evening?
I'm hoping to get to the final, and if I play Bo in the final, that'd be great as well. But I really just hope me and Bo, if we do get to the final, put on a really good showcase for everyone and, get them 100 averages. But, all the ladies playing tonight, they're all capable of beating us and playing really well. So who knows who's going to get to the final. But yeah, that's obviously my ambition, is to get there tonight.
And you are a player who's had a habit of doing things first in your career. What would it mean to you to be the first to win the Modus Super Series Women's Week? Oh yeah, no, I think in general, just to win on a Modus Super Series week would be like a first for me. Like, I would be so proud of myself. But yeah, I'll just take it game as it comes. But yeah, it would mean a lot. Good luck. Thank you.
And Fallon Sherrock, all of a sudden, is a leg away from the perfect night. She needs 2-0. A class above.
It's difficult. You've got to get your head down and try and weather the storm, but Sherrock, the storm keeps coming. And it kept coming indeed. A 160 to finish off.
In start for Ton Topper, double 8 for 1, 2, 4. Well, that's some way to start for Fallon Sherrock.
A few of Fallon's 7 ton-topping finishers that she's produced this week at Women's Week at the Super Series on show there. And she'll be hoping to add a few more on this finals night. She has, of course, reached a finals night before. She's reached a final before in a standard Super Series week. Lost it to Moreno Michels. But tonight, well, she will be hoping to go one better. Potentially that collision course with Bo Greaves in the final. They are in different groups, but as has been said throughout the show by our pundits and the players themselves, that anybody is capable of springing a surprise. The scalp here would be Fallon Sherrock, MB, the 29-year-old Women's World Match Play Champion, the inaugural one, of course, and all of the other stuff she did before that is well documented. Lesser known, Kirsi Viinikainen, but she has managed to get the biggest scalp so far this week. The only player to beat Bo Greaves. Can she add Fallon Sherrock to that hit list? We will find out in the company of Scott and Laura.
Yeah, cheers, Murph. This is our second game on Women's Week finals night. Bo opened it up in superb fashion. An absolute demolition job on Rhian O'Sullivan, but this is a little bit more about contrasting styles as well, Laura, with
80.
Fallon really likes to do, not throw pacey, but she has a certain rhythm to her throw when she is playing well, and Kirsi is very much a slow, methodic thrower, isn't she?
Yeah, very methodical in her approach, Kirsi Viinikainen. But for Kirsi, I think when you look back at the week, she hasn't been able to find that top gear to get close to Fallon. She's lost all 5 of their encounters so
60.
far, and they've either been 3-1 or 3-0. But as we've been, as we've said before, this is where they've all been playing to get to. Now they're here. There's no more do-overs. There's no coming back tomorrow. It's all or nothing.
No, indeed, and the worrying thing for the other ladies is also that
55.
Fallon poked 4 ton pluses in 2 nights in that Group B, and that's got to be frightening as well. She had a 160, a 120, a 124 and a 150, and you just stand there and you're just astounded. You think, surely she can't keep hitting these, and she does. She just consistently does, and that's why her levels are there, and that's why these 2 are the new girls on the block, and it's nothing new. You know, it's been sort of Trina and Anastasia at times, hasn't it? There's always been a rivalry. It's Trina and Frances Honsler. It's gone back through the women's game. These sort of top 2 rivalries are not new to the women's game.
No, indeed, and long may they continue. Because what I am quite a believer in is when you do get a couple of players that are just, that bit ahead of the field, it encourages the rest of the field to catch up, because that is the only way that you're going to beat them, the way you're going to be competitive.
Yeah, you, for want of a better word, you get dragged along with the situation, and I think what it does, and it's the same for male players that play MVG and people like that. You concentrate so well against those players and you throw so well, you have to, because you have to. It's like in your subconscious that you have to do it. Whereas another game where you play an opponent where you feel you should be beating them, you don't quite concentrate so much, and when it starts going wrong, you allow it to go wrong between your ears, and then you're in all sorts of trouble.
98. Kirsi requires 68.
That last visit from Kirsi, I think it's on 68. This would be a break of throw if she can convert it.
Game shot.
And this is what we're talking about with the short format. And you allow your opponent to get a dart at it, and it's a break of throw as well.
Second leg, it's Kirsi to throw first.
Kirsi hit that.
Game on.
98 to get herself that shot. It was the set-up play that put the pressure on Fallon to have to go for the ball.
97.
This is where you usually see Fallon now bounce back. She gets a bit of red rag to the ball, losing her leg. She gets a little bit disappointed, and then she turns up and replies like this.
And it was interesting hearing her speaking to Chris earlier on, and something that we've discussed with Fallon and I before, that she does have those first 3 days when she's doing a full week here. She said to herself, it takes her a little bit of time just to get into it, and we saw that in terms of the performances that she provided
45.
in Group B.
But yeah, we discussed it in here before the evening started. It's a very different thing to come here, have to lose a game maybe. Not that Bow and Fallow lose many games, but to come here and lose a game, and then 15 minutes later there could be a game on, and then you're back on having lost, where most of the stuff that we play these days are knockouts, and we're not back on in 15 minutes. We're in the car on the way home. So, and your mind is switched off. You don't have to switch it back on so quickly usually to then try and come and win another game.
Yeah, it does afford you time, though. That's what I quite liked about it. As I say, it was my first playing experience here, and the fact that you know, until you get to the latter stages of the last day of your group, you know that you have got that bit of time. But that doesn't always work in your advantage either, because you might, like you say, you might not be as switched on as possible.
Yeah, sometimes you go, I've lost this one. It's all right, I'll get it the next one. Then the next one comes, you don't get that. And you it's all right, I'll get the next one. And before you know it, the group's passed you by. The one for me, being in Group B, I found the toughest. And it should be the easiest because 3 go through from 5, but it isn't. The games come pretty quickly, and you start looking at the table after 3 games, and you're already running out of games to try and get in that top 3. But it's done for a reason. It's done for the entertainment, and it's done because people enjoy watching that.
100. Fallon, you require 100.
Kirsi Viinikainen there, just tapping on the shoulder of Fallon Sherrock. So 92 left.
We lip read there. Oh, wow.
Require 112.
Yeah, she's one of those players, she will speak to herself if it goes slightly awry.
$38. Fallon, you require 40. Game shot on the second.
Fallon does find the target.
Fallon Sherrock.
There's that break back. As we say, in this short format, it's important.
Third leg, it's Fallon to throw first. Game on. $80.
So we've had 2 breaks of throw. The important one was the Fallon break, because obviously Kirsi's doesn't really count as a break, because an old man, wise man, told me that a break isn't a break until you hold your own throw after.
60.
And she was unfortunately not able to hold her own throw after. Unfortunate for her, but more than fortunate for Fallon, because she was better in the leg, and that's the bottom line, and that's how the game works.
Again, compared to the rest of the week, I'd say this match, it just feels tentative. I mean, you saw the emotion, you saw how much it actually meant to Kirsi when she found out that she actually qualified, and then you've got to bring yourself back up, because I guess in her mind she thought she was out. So the fact that she's coming back again to compete in this first ever finals night of the Women's Week.
Fallon doesn't look settled quite yet for me. And I don't think it's about being settled. I think she's raring to go and ready to go, but I do think the contrast in styles is not being very productive for Fallon's game.
No, I've played as yourself as well. You know, you play players of all paces. You have to learn that is something you're going to have to factor into your game. It's how you do it. For me, when someone's slower, it's the approach that I take to the oki afterwards, because my pace will be, you know, approach the oki, throw.
A secret is to put your foot to the oki, as you say, throw your pace and do your thing, and then once they're gone, you can pretty much do what you want. If you want to walk back slower because your opponent's slower, walk back slower. You know, if you don't want to be there watching her hit a 180, don't run around in a circle to come and watch Fallon hit 180s. Well, why would you do that and put yourself off?
And this is something I've seen from Kirsi quite a bit. She won't be rushed. I mean, she's working out what she's got now. She's working up the route, but she stows herself once again.
105.
Does find the target
Fallon
intended.
requires 76.
Always a fear with that you hit the ball.
No score. Kirsi require 36.
Hear it. Shouts from the crowd of unlucky. That was desperately close, but just the wrong side of the target. And this is massive opportunity for Kirsi.
And in these nervy opportunities, I like to see that dart go on the outside because I think it means you're not overcommitting. If you overcommit with that first dart sometimes in a really pressure nervy situation, which this is for Kirsi, let's not deny it. She's playing one of the best lady players that has ever been on the planet here in Fallon. And it was just a super sensible using experience. Don't go silly at the 36 and hit a big one, you know, because then that affects you as a player. And here she goes now.
180.
She's taking the confidence of what she's doing, and now she's really starting to believe. And this is when Fallon kicks in.
120.
Yeah, great adjustment on the last there from Fallon Sherrock. But as you say, Kirsi, those first couple of legs, I think, just settled her into what she has to do here tonight.
$100.
We're all good when we're in front at this game, Laura, aren't we? No matter who we're playing. Absolutely. If Fallon was not having bad luck in this game, she'd have no luck at all.
Yeah, you could see that from the reaction from Fallon. And sometimes that's all you can do is kind of smile, shake your head and try again.
Kirsi is in again and threw that second one a little bit quicker. She's getting excited. The blood is pumping.
Yeah, but Fallon still fighting and finds another 180 herself.
Kirsi require 136.
In that situation, you do have to relax and throw, and that's exactly what she did there.
$45. Fallon, you require 120.
Headspace there would have been a ton. You would have just wanted to hit a ton. You wouldn't have tried to hit the 136. You just wanted a ton. To put Fallon under pressure for this 120.
100. Kirsi requires.
So where does she go?
91.
91. Does she go 25 or does she go straight at the treble 17?
I mean, to me, she's more of an old school traditional player, so I'm thinking treble 17. Goes into the 2, so 89 left.
And now she's thinking to herself, not now. Not now, Kirsi, she's thinking.
$43. Fallon, you require 20.
2 apiece and another break. Should be a good guide for Fallon. She can't use it, so Kirsi Viinikainen back for 48.
Wasn't for the lack of trying. They were just well thrown darts. They just didn't go into the desired segment that she wanted. And now Viinikainen to produce the shock, the first shock of the evening. And that's exactly what it is. Look at her face. She can't believe it herself. Are we going to see more tears? No, she's getting the hang of it. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, she's had a moment, but look at those averages. When Fallon drops down to those averages, 79 and 78, you do offer yourself up to be beaten. But fair play to Kirsi. She opens her night with a win. That will see her relax in the next game. We will go into a short break, and On the other side, we will return with Rhian O'Sullivan and Vicky Pruim.
Yeah, welcome back to the action here at Women's Week Finals night. Scott, the first match going the way everybody expected. The second game there, Kirsi Viinikainen beating Fallon Sherrock. Something of a shock.
Yeah, of course it was a little bit of a shock, but what you have to say is that Fallon dropped down off of her A game into that territory where she then becomes hunted by the people that are doing that as a run-of-the-mill game, which is one of their better games, to be fair. Yeah, very difficult one.
Fallon had missed starts at this point, 4 of them in that leg to get level. But Viinikainen, I mean, similar to the reaction, she looked in shock herself to beating Fallon Sherrock.
I thought she was going to blub. I'm not going to lie. I thought when she put her hands to her face, I thought she was going to go. I mean, it's a massive win for her as an individual, but it's also when we talk about, you know, where she's from Scandinavia, and she's over here and she's doing this. And lots of them will be watching that tonight. You know, that's a massive moment for her in her own country and in their own area. So, yeah, fair play to her. She held her nerve. She does. She's experienced, and when you give her opportunities, she 9 times out of 10 will take them.
And she's got a chance to play Deta Hedman next. It means that Fallon Sherrock against Deta later might be a straight shootout. Who'd have thought that?
Who'd have thought, indeed. And how many times have those two played? It, you know, pairs partners in Fallon's younger years when she was coming up through the ranks. So not an easy game to play when you're playing somebody that you're really friendly with.
Absolutely. Right, next game is Vicky Pruim against Rhian O'Sullivan. Rhian, having lost to Bo, needs to win this one. If Pruim wins it, she will be through, taking Bo Greaves with her. And I had a little chat with Vicky earlier tonight. Vicky, welcome to finals night here on the first ever Women's Week. Just what does it mean to be part of this?
No, it's great. That's what I was hoping for at the start when we played, and to make it through, it's good.
The timing of this week's been pretty good for you as well, hasn't it? Because you've been in excellent form recently, and you seem to have carried it on this week.
Yeah, I'm playing all right lately, so I'm not complaining at all.
How much are you looking forward to tonight in front of an audience, as well as having the 6 fantastic players in a different kind of format as well?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a change, of course, with the audience, but it's always nice to have cheers and the noise. I think most of us are more used to that than playing in a quiet environment.
There has been sort of a perception from the women's series, from the WDF, that Bo Greaves is a dominant player, Fallon Sherrock then sort of not far behind her, but there are 6 players in action tonight. How much are you fancying your chances of maybe causing what might be seen as an upset?
Well, anything can happen. If I play my A game, they'll have to play well to beat me. If they do that, hats off to them. So anything can happen.
And of course, we did see you beat Fallon last night as well. We've seen that you've produced some really good performances. The format as well is pretty short. Do you think that is a little bit of a feeds into that anything can happen?
Yeah, I think so. I think if it's a longer format, it plays in the favour of the better players like Fallon and Bo, because they're more used to playing that. But in a short format, they know they can't make any mistakes if any of us play on our A game. They know they have to be on their toes, because it's one mistake can mean the end of it.
And just in general, how much have you enjoyed the experience this week?
Very much I did. It's been great. Absolutely great.
I hope you enjoy it even more tonight. Good luck.
Oh, so thank you.
Thank you. And Vicky Pruim comes into this week and into this finals now on excellent form. She's had a couple of successes on the WADC circuit, that is the Women's Amateur Darts Circuit, and really has carried that into her Women's Week bow at the Super Series. Now, as mentioned when I was chatting with Scott Mitchell there, Rhian O'Sullivan is in need of a win here because of that 3-0 defeat to Bo Greaves. The Welshwoman would be out if she's defeated by Pruim, which means, of course, that Vicky and Bo would go through with a game against each other to spare. So I'll hand you back to the comms team. Scott Mitchell has rejoined Laura Turner.
Thanks very much, Chris. Yep, very much last chance saloon here for Rhian O'Sullivan. Did come up against a good performing Bo Greaves, 86-71. But key thing for me in that match, Rhian hasn't even had the opportunity at the outer ring yet. She didn't get a chance at a double in that first match. And I don't know how you feel about it, but sometimes just getting that first leg under your belt just acts as a real settler.
Oh, it's massively important. I do probably harp on about it when I'm here. When you come here and you're on finals night, the first thing you want to do is hit your first treble 20 as quickly as you can, and then you want to get your first leg under your belt and get that double and just convince yourself. You might have done it all week and you've won loads of games to get here, but you haven't done it on this night, at finals night. And sometimes you can put finals night in your head as being a little bit bigger than what it is, and you know your friends are all messaging you overnight and all day today, and you get a few more messages than you usually would have, and you know, good luck mate and all the rest of it, which is absolutely lovely, and you're lovely to receive them, but it does add a little bit of pressure to the night. So when you can get yourself settled down nice and quickly, there is an advantage to this. The fact that Rhian's gone up there and lost, but she has been up there where Vicky hasn't been up there yet this evening. And that's the other thing. So Vicky hasn't been up there and she's against the darts. So I mean, if you think about it logically, you can convince yourself back into the group.
100. Yeah, and her performance against Bo was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. She had just under an 83 average, which, you know, that will win you quite a lot of games here at the 41. Super Series.
27 average in old money, in our old money, you know what I mean, at a county game, if you're doing 27 averages there, you're a happy lady.
Absolutely, 100%.
137.
That's a good visit there. Puts all the pressure on this 134 for O'Sullivan. Not going to convert, so really well-timed visit from Vicky Pruim.
Vicky required 43.
Well, obviously not the intended target, but looking at double 17, goes for it. Well,
9.
I quite often call it the lesser spotted double 17, but actually they're both sat on it.
Yeah, you've had some good odds on that.
Game shot on the first leg. Rhian O'Sullivan.
I won't say anything about it being Rhian's height on the board and perfect for her, because
second leg, it's Vicky to throw first.
She is Welsh and she will punch me when she watches it back and bumps into me again.
Yeah, she might be having some words, Scott.
45.
It's all right. It'll be an angry Welsh person. You never understand the first few words from an angry Welsh person, so they start to slow down.
140.
So good. Now, it was a nice dart as well because it was an over-the-top dart. It was a cultured dart rather than blasting straight at it because she had blockers in the way. But double 17 is always a dodgy double.
I do think the other element that tonight has that the rest of the week hasn't had is obviously you've got the crowd in as well. So you've actually got that physical support there from people that have travelled a long way. I know Vicky's friends and family are in the audience, and that's quite some distance they've travelled to be here today.
And that adds pressure within itself, doesn't it, as well? That you don't want to come down and they've come all that way and disappoint. I know that's how I felt on my first finals night. I came here and some friends came with. Came up from Poole and some Dorset players came, and I did not want to be gone at the end of the group stage and have 2 games, and that's exactly what happened. I was gone by game 3.
100.
So yeah, it's hard. It does add added pressure, but look, you've just got to pull your big girl pants up and get on with it.
138.
I've got several pairs of those.
40.
Yeah, I wear pink weekends. Me too. I've got big girl boxers.
Game shot on the second leg. Rhian
Oh, but this is much better from Rhian O'Sullivan, doing everything she possibly can to remain within the tournament.
Rhian to throw first.
And I think we're going back to your point about getting that first double under your belt. And since she's hit that first double, she's looked very calm and calculated.
Yeah, we're currently just averaging just over 86 a dart. I think Rhian's one of those people, she'll analyse this week afterwards and she'll look at those first 3 days, and I think it just took her a while to settle in. Ended up finding herself in Group C, which
41.
I get on very, very well with Rhian, but I did not want to see her in Group C. To be fair, I didn't really want to see any of the others in Group C, but, you know, I was surprised that she was there and maybe not in Group B.
No, I agree. I think that was the surprise to go to Group C, but she openly admitted in an interview before the Group C started that, you know, it was new surroundings. It was so quiet she wasn't used to. You could hear an ambulance going up the road. I don't know other venues that you know that, but if an ambulance goes up the road tonight, you wouldn't hear it because there's people in now. So and you think, no, it doesn't change much. It actually changes the atmosphere a lot and the playing conditions.
Oh, yeah. I've openly spoken about it. When I start playing these games, sometimes I can't help but do a little bit of commentary in my head when I'm playing. And when the ambulance went past, I actually pinched a leg at that time. I didn't know what it was. I did think, they're coming to arrest me. They are coming to find me because I have totally stolen this leg off the player. It
is funny what goes through your head when you're up there, doesn't it? Particularly having been a commentator. And you'll make a mistake and you sit there going, oh no, they are going to cane me for that upstairs.
Yeah, the best ones are counting mistakes when you leave yourself on a non-finish, like 169, 168. I've done that so many times, and as soon as I let go of that last start, I realise what I've done, and I can hear them.
But sometimes you get overcautious, not trying to leave a bogey number, and you leave a bogey number because you're being overcautious and counting wrongly. If you'd have just carried on, 9 times out of 10, it would be autopilot, and you do the right thing. But when you're thinking about doing the right thing, it's when it goes wrong.
60.
Well, I will say, if Vicky Pruim does go down 3-0 here, it's going to be a very big task for her because her last group match will be against Bo Greaves.
Good last.
170. .43. Vicky requiring 46.
Yeah, double 18.
Game shot.
And that was well taken from Vicky Pruim. Easy. Laney come all the way down to support Vicky.
To throw first. Game on.
Natalie Gilbert sat there as well.
Yeah, a few of the players have stayed around. Trina's out there as well.
60. 45.
Nice 140 there from Rhian.
$140.
And Rhian's there thrown on stage, and there's her nemesis in the 2 World Finals, Trina Gulliver, that Rhian played in.
Yeah, I did tune in earlier on in the week, and one of the questions that came up, obviously, it goes to it, greatest of all time. I've always said Trina's the GOAT. You know, I grew up watching her. She inspired me to play darts, and yeah, to me, not that I want to create any online debates once again, but she would definitely be mine.
Yeah, no, she was mine. She managed to get me involved in a darts deal, which went on for 16 years.
106.
So I will always be forever grateful for her help.
43. Vicky require 90.
This is a massive opportunity for Vicky Pruim. Double 15. And once again, very well taken, and you can see the reaction there from Vicky. I think she liked that.
I think she did, but she had to go that route. It had to be 20-20 ball at the minimum requirement to get a dart or something to win a leg. A lot of people forget that. You've got to try and get a dart or something to win the leg, otherwise you can't win the leg. Wow, wow, wow. Quality from Rhian O'Sullivan, the most capped international women's player in the world. On 92 caps she is for Wales. No other woman has had 92 caps for their country anywhere. That is some record to have.
Yeah, and this is some performance. This is not what Vicky would have wanted to see. She's got the advantage of throw. 180, backed it up with a 140, down to 181 in just 6 starts. And back in that red bit once again.
145.
She slowed down for that one, made sure, and 36 after 9 is not too shabby in any game. And that's a 10-darter to win the match from Rhian O'Sullivan, the most capped lady player in the world. Shows her class there. 10-dart leg. What a women's week this has been. It just keeps giving, doesn't it? And there's the averages. Very similar to her average against Bo Greaves. 83 again for O'Sullivan, but the all-important thing, 3 from 5 on the checkout. 60%. Masterful, that is. Vicky Pruim has now got a tough game to try and stay in the evening against Bo Greaves, but we're heading to a short break, and when we return it will be Kirsi Viinikainen versus Deta Hedman.
Well, a really interesting evening so far, and Rhian O'Sullivan, she looked kind of dead and buried. She had to win that match, and God, she did it in style.
Yeah, didn't she just? I mean, the 10 data at the end aside, which I think was absolutely, it was unbelievable considering the pressure she probably would have felt under. But just to come back after that 3-0 defeat, I mentioned in comms, she hadn't actually had a shot at the outer ring against Bo. And just getting that first leg, it did prove, I think, to be that settler that she really needed. And wow, did she push on.
She really did. Let's just have a recap of the results from this evening so far. So Bo Greaves, as Laura just mentioned, got the 3-0 win against Rhian O'Sullivan. After that, Kirsi Viinikainen in Group 2 with a shock win over Fallon Sherrock. That's made things very, very interesting in that group. And Rhian has kept her hopes alive, meaning that at this point, nobody is yet through. Vicky Pruim can still get through. She'd have to beat Bo Greaves to do it. It's very, very interesting stuff. And then Viinikainen and Hedman coming up next. Kirsi's actually put herself in a position in that group where she doesn't even need to win. She only needs 2 legs to qualify.
Yeah, and that's brilliant. And I love it. I love it from Kirsi especially. You see it from other players, but just the reaction. You can see the emotion. She's lost 5 times this week to Fallon Sherrock. So then to come here when it really does matter the most, find that performance against someone of the class of Fallon Sherrock and put herself in that position, she must be elated.
Deta Hedman, though, she hasn't appeared yet tonight, but she's been really dominant in Group C. 9 wins on the bounce she comes into this group, including 2 against you, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But look, she's got all the experience in the world, and she will be expecting to go up there, win a couple of games and get through.
Yeah, and I think that's what she will expect of herself. She'll look to push on from what she's done so far this week, and she has been a very strong contender obviously in Group C, but it's a different night. It's a different pressure. You're back out here in front of the crowd. However, as you say, the experience of Deta Hedman, if you can't draw on that, then what can you draw on?
and as for Kirsi, speaking of drawing on something, I mean, drawing on the fact that she's beaten both Bo Greaves and Fallon Sherrock this week.
The 2 favourites, and she's the only one to get that win over Bo Greaves as well. So yeah, it must bring loads of confidence. But it's a different day, and you want to make sure that when you come here, you can settle in. So the only one we haven't really seen perform yet, obviously, is Deta. So it's how she just settles in, because we saw it with Rhian. If you miss those key opportunities, that game can be over very quickly.
And that game is ready to get underway. But first, let's hear from Deta Hedman. Deta, you've made it through to the first Women's Week finals night. How do you feel about that?
I feel absolutely superb, to be fair, yeah.
And of course, during your Group C campaign, you lost your first match, but then won 9 on the spin. So just sum up how you feel about your form and your performances this week.
To be fair, all I had in my head was win as many games as you can if possible. And one of the most things I ever always have is I like to play a good game, win or lose, but put on a good performance, because women are always under the pressure to play well, to be fair. And when you get the opportunity, is just to show that you can play good darts.
I know that you have been, shall we say, having a quiet word with the organisers over the years to put a Women's Week on here at the Super Series. How special has it been for you to have been part of it?
Oh my goodness, the first one, fantastic. And I do hope they continue to do it, because there's so many other good girls out there. It's just been given the opportunity to show what they can do.
It's been an excellent standard. Now, you do have the advantage of having won on that stage before. Of course, we saw you win the Women's ADC event last year. You've got a lot of experiences in darts, but do you think that experience can help you tonight?
In fairness, every game you play is so different, because you're playing different people, because the ones that was here for the ADC final are all totally different girls. I don't think there was any of the girls out here this week that was there that week. So, it's all different. Every game is different. Everyone is different on each day. So I'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see if today is your day. Good luck. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So here we go then. Deta Hedman appearing for the first time at this finals night, but not the first time on that stage. And she has won on that stage. I just mentioned the winner of an ADC women's event last year here at the Live Lounge. But she knows that she's going to have a tough task here, because Fallon Sherrock didn't manage to do the job against Kirsi Viinikainen earlier on. Kirsi getting that win has made this group much more complicated. If Fallon won that, Deta would know a win here and she'd be through. A win of a 3-0 margin would see Hedman go through with a game to spare. Kirsi, though, only needs 2 legs. Just to clarify from the other group, by the way, Bo Greaves is through, and Rhian O'Sullivan will go through with her unless Vicky Pruim can beat Bo in that one. But back in this one, Kirsi, she has already managed to defeat One great of the women's game in Fallon Sherrock, the Queen of the Palace. Can she dethrone Deta Hedman on this occasion and book her place in the semi-finals? Or will Hedman, the lady with the most titles to her name in this sport, get off to a winning start? Let's find out. Back to Laura and Scott.
Yeah, cheers, Murph. And yeah, what an achievement it would be for Kirsi
Game
to
on!
beat two such ladies on the same evening, one after the other. Particularly for a region and particularly for ladies darts, and to show that, hey, you know, there are others out there, and that's what this ladies' week has done, and no more so than for
85.
Viinikainen.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing Deta speak then, and obviously imploring that this isn't the only women's week. I mean, for me personally, I think it's been really successful. Really has been a joy to watch. But those people that she was saying missing, I do want to give a shout out to Lisa Ashton, who's over in Switzerland. She won that title over there today with a victory over Arena Armstrong, 5-3.
Yeah, I know there was a few others invited. Robin Burns on holiday, I think, and yeah, just one of those things. But I'm sure if there's another women's week, there'll be more chances. Some more new faces brought to the public on the big screen. And I think it's really important for the development for those. It's all right playing
60.
great on the floor all the time. You need to be getting here and learning this stage part of it. And I've tried to reiterate how great the Super Series is, and this Women's Week is for players by trying to explain. I went to Lakeside. It took me 3 years on the trot to get 3 games on telly. It took me 3 years. You get that in the morning here. You get that in the morning in group. And so that experience, you wouldn't have had to wait 3 years. And so sometimes that's why players took time to develop, because the TV opportunities weren't there. And with the way that the modern day game has gone, and the way that YouTube has happened, and live streaming on that wasn't around back then. So, you know, we've got to use it to our advantage at darts.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. Just saying,
95.
I've spoken about it just like you said there, and you go that whole year. You go, and I think people maybe underestimate the amount of effort it takes to actually qualify for a world championship. You know, the amount of slog you do, the different countries you go to, and they're your best performances on the floor. So then you just want to make the most of the opportunity, and you don't have that stage experience.
60.
I've struggled with it very much so. So, you know, this was a fantastic opportunity for me.
But I think if you got to go again, you would see it in a totally different light, and you would set yourself up in a different way. And it's like anything that you haven't ever done before. It doesn't matter whether it's driving a car or whatever. You build yourself up to what you think it's going to be like in your head. But the actual reality is it's nothing like it at all when you actually go to do it.
Kirsi require
A tentative
80.
start here from Deta Hedman. So Viinikainen with an opportunity. It's just a hold, but as we said, I'd imagine Kirsi, looking at the reaction yesterday when she realised she was through, she may not realise that it's just a couple of legs that she requires.
40.
No, I would advise her not to think like that. I would advise her to come and try and win the game. That's the mental state it has to be. The disadvantage here for Deta is that she hasn't had a game up there yet, and Kirsi has, and she's also throwing second to somebody that's already
81.
won. So it would be
Kirsi
very
require
easy
40.
for Deta to go up there and feel, you know, everything's against her.
Yeah, again, just taking her time, adjusting ever so slightly.
5.
Yeah, and over just a bit too much there.
Did you require 116?
These are the sorts of things that your top players finish. And here we go, Hedman. Treble 20 with the first. She's staying there. And it was a mistake. Maybe she should have come out.
63.
Yeah, it's quite easy for us to sit here and
Kirsi
say it, but
require
actually when you
35.
look at that, the target was quite blocked. Needed to get it higher.
But those little badoing points do get out the way, don't they?
Yeah, that is true. mean, I've seen Deta obviously play on so many occasions, but even now I have to do a double take when those darts hit the board. Just make sure it's not my eyesight failing me.
Game shot on the first leg. Kirsi Viinikainen.
So first blood to Kirsi, and
Second leg is Deta to throw first.
that will settle her down in what's a big game. She just needs one more of those and she's guaranteed to be through, but as Laura said earlier, I don't think she'll know. I don't think she'll know.
No, I don't either.
92.
Yeah, good switch there from Deta.
Like we said earlier, people are confident when they're leading and they play slightly differently.
I was hearing comms on Monday and I spoke to Kirsi after that first day. She said how nervous she felt, and that really does affect a player. Obviously, if you don't have all your nerves in control, it's very difficult. And she's just built up and up as the week's gone on, and as I say, it's resulted in that early win against Fallon Sherrock, and she's one up on Deta Hedman.
Yeah, indeed. I just saw Shannon Reeves there. She's a World Cup winner with the youth for England. Back in the day, well, about 4 years ago, whatever it was. You know, it always feels back in the day now. I'm getting older. 1 year just falls into another now.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that next comment of it during the war from you.
Yeah. Me and Uncle Albert. He used to live down our way too, you know. She's throwing really well still, isn't she? These are well thrown darts, and I commented yesterday about the type of flight she used makes that dart a very positive dart because not a lot of drag on the flight. It's a very thin and long flight, so that makes it a very positive dart to throw.
60.
Doesn't have a massive parabolic arc as it throws through the air, so it will fly fairly flat, it will.
Yeah, no, I am impressed with the wordage there, and I'm impressed with these darts once again from Kirsi Viinikainen.
Yeah, you must be careful saying parabolic with a mouthful of peanuts, I can tell you. But, yes.
Sorry, I'm just catching my breath there.
It's all right, I can explain it to you if you want. It's the arc in which the dart flies.
I know what it is. It's just, you know,
95.
still, like you say, feels risky.
It is risky.
116.
With a mouthful of salted nuts.
Right, anyway, back to the darts. Yeah, wild dart there from Kirsi Viinikainen.
30.
But this 1-3-1,
Did you require
if that's a shot I leave, it's not a nice shot, is it?
No, I commented in the week, 130 is lovely. 132 is okay, but 131 is a bit... You need to hit two trebles to get 131, where 130 you can
57.
get away with one and get a dart at the ball, and the same with the 25. You need one treble to get a dart back at the ball. That was a big safe 18 as well, so bullseye it is.
61.
And not a million miles away.
Requires 74.
Hedman, the England captain, is under all sorts of pressure here for this 74. No risk taken going for the treble 13. It was a big 13, and now her shot at the ball.
39. Kirsi required 25.
I think that showed what pressure she was under.
Yeah, 100%. Yet nowhere near the intended target. Kirsi back here for 25. Finds the 9, but only just.
Yeah, if she'd been using thicker points, that would have been a 14.
Game shown the second leg.
But you cannot knock the way she hit the double eight, and those two legs see her through to the semi-finals.
Kirsi to throw first. Game on.
She is safely through.
Yeah, and it does make this final match of this group very, very interesting, with Deta set to face Fallon Sherrock.
Yeah, that leg has opened up a whole can of worms in Group 2.
Hey, but we said it at the start. Any of these women up here are capable. They've done all they needed to do to get to this point. If you can have your best day at the right time, anything can happen.
Well, she's having a great day.
81.
This time yesterday, she didn't really know she was through. So now, although she probably still doesn't realise she's through, she's in the semi-finals.
95.
And obviously there are financial rewards involved with that for her, so...
Yeah, of course, yep. You get the prize money obviously increasing as you head towards that final.
64.
I know it is a factor, and it's an important one, you know, with the amount of travel that we have to do. However, when you're up there, I mean, it's all about the trophy, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The money will come and go, but the trophy, the name stays on forever. I remember an interview with Richie Burnett saying that he'd earned 2 fortunes at darts, but spent 3.
That's a very Richie Burnett thing to say. Yeah, this match maybe resembling slightly Deta's opening match in her Group C campaign, where she did lose 3-2 to Rhian O'Sullivan, the only match that she has lost so far this week.
It is a match where you can quite easily say that Kirsi is dictating the pace of the game.
I do think Deta's one of those kind of methodical players as well in terms of her step up, her approach. She's very much in control of, you know, what she can do within her time. So I don't think it bothers her as much as maybe it was riling Fallon and disrupting her rhythm.
No, I agree. But I think Deta does have a different pace. She can go up a couple of notches, but she's also quite comfortable going down a couple of notches to a slower pace. And I think that's also what's given Deta longevity in the game, being able to deal with that. And 162, Kirsi.
79.
If in doubt, treble 18.
Well, where her darts sit slightly flatter, sometimes, although it looks like there's a lot of gap, it's quite easy to clatter into those flights.
Yeah, our camera angle is from a lower angle, isn't it, there at the board? So it doesn't show exactly how flat the dart is sitting. It is slightly deceiving.
108.
We do have a lovely overhead shot that shows very much so how the darts sit, but just going to stay there on treble 18, and that is marvellously close.
And 108, there's no kind of right or wrong way to go, but that to me is very traditional still, the 18s route. And you see a lot of players now utilising that treble 20 because it's the target you go for more times than not.
Kirsi and I are of an age that we don't like change. I've only just started stopping going 42 tops for 82.
Oh, Scott. I get it. You have it set in your mind of what you want, but this is a massive opportunity for Kirsi here to beat Deta Hedman 3-0, 65 required.
That's an awkward one. It's got to be 11 ball now. Or is she going to go with the 25 because she feels that she's... A nice safe 11. No silliness going for the treble. It's bullseye.
35. Deta requires
Not
60.
a bad leave. But you would think Hedman would take this out. But you never know when you're 2-0 down. You know there's pressure. Nice high one with the first one, so it's double 10.
Game shown the third.
So we go double.
Deta Hedman.
And now, what's that England captain? Her shoulders have come up with a bit of, as we said earlier, getting that first double and first leg on the board for the evening. Does calm you down and give you a bit of confidence.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how important that leg may actually end up being, because Fallon lost 3-1 to Kirsi. Any leg that Deta can actually add on to here could be a 3-2 win, could be a 3-2 loss, could be a 3-1 loss. But every leg, I think, is going to help in that last matchup where Deta takes on Fallon.
100.
Well, so far in the opening leg here, you would have to say
59.
advantage Kirsi with the big treble 19 for Hedman there. And this is the overhead shot, so you can see more of the angle that dart sits. It is rather flatter than it looks from this angle.
60.
And Deta is very similar, actually. Hers are going quite at a flat angle.
Yeah, it's always interesting to kind of see from almost like the kind of player's perspective what they're seeing.
There is quite a flick involved with
62.
Kirsi's throw, and when she gets the timing of the forward motion and the flick of the dart wrong, that can sometimes result in being a little wayward, and you don't want to be offering Deta opportunities to think that you're being wayward, because she'll do that to you and come back into the match.
Yeah, Kirsi, once again, just taking her time. And I like that a lot of players would potentially go up there, and even if they are a slower player, would still feel that pressure to kind of rush into what they need to do. Kirsi doesn't seem worried about it whatsoever. She needs to make sure that she's right.
Like I say, she's been to lots of World Cups and Europe Cups that I've been at, and although she is younger than me, I still feel a little bit of a spring chicken in those. She's been to many more of those than I have. She has bags and bags of experience,
140.
but it's only recently that she's been travelling, and we're seeing this game that she's producing. Obviously, they've seen it in their home nations and in Scandinavia an awful lot, but we're now starting to see it here. And
60. Teaching required.
I think no matter what happens for her, making the same semi-finals is a success story for her and the ladies in the Scandinavian area.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you can possibly attribute it to is the format of the women's series and how that has developed. I think that's why you're seeing Rhian back on the circuit as much as she is. You're obviously seeing more of Kirsi Viinikainen and other players as well, because it's attracted them back to the sport.
Yeah, it has. And Kirsi's high out in Group B was a 1-2-6, and that was on the ball. She's not going to take this 120, so offers Hedman the chance. At 24. Now we're chasing round the board, double 6. But hits it. I wonder how many times she's been under pressure in her career and then done that. It's got to be many. You don't have over 250 titles. Ranking titles, that is. That's not the dog and duck ones. She's probably won a couple hundred of those as well.
Yeah, very, very accomplished player. And that's some kind of CV from Deta Hedman. But Kirsi Viinikainen. This is very much echoing the last match between Rhian O'Sullivan and Vicky Pruim. Rhian went into that 2-0 lead. Vicky brought it back, similar to Deta here, but what Rhian had in her locker was a 10-dart leg to see out the match.
Yeah, totally agree. Great spot that is. This game has become a game that, because of its pace, it's become a game that every dart is being thrown is felt. You're not throwing 3 as a sequence, and she's just up to her pace a little here.
125.
And the result was 125.
You can get very embroiled in these type of matches, can't you? Because both can sense an opportunity in terms of their performances around about the 70 average mark, and that's under what they've performed throughout the, their average throughout the week. So it is a massive chance. So Kirsi probably
60.
thinks that she needs to win this leg to secure that place in the semi-final. So both will be feeling the pressure.
I think it's their B-C game. That's what this game is.
$100.
But I just noticed that Kirsi realised that slower pace was not working. The experience she has, the last 2 throws, she's up the pace, and here we go, 125, 100. But the fear of doing that and up in the pace, you do make things easier for your opponent.
85.
And Deta started to come with her.
Yeah, neck and neck, it's very tight, but just this 80-point buffer, if Kirsi can find 1 or 2 trebles, and there is one of them, she's going to put some real daylight between the pair.
One 7-2.
125.
Wow. Big pickup. I was wrong, it was 168.
Yeah, absolutely massive dart there from Kirsi Viinikainen. And it was difficult. The angle was quite hard to get through, but she persevered.
Kirsi require
And now she's got time from this 108 to win the match.
It's back over on the 18s where she was before, and we saw her still go for the treble when that dart was in that position. 30 in the board, 78. You would normally go back there again, but it looks fairly blocked. Looks like she's going there. She's going to stay there again. Oh,
84.
Oh, that was sweet.
Blocked? What are you talking about, Scott?
No idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, fab dart from Kirsi Viinikainen.
Don't know what I'm talking about. Bad shoes. Honestly, I think my days are numbered here.
55.
Well,
Kirsi required
match-winning opportunity here for Kirsi Viinikainen. 24 required.
She stepped back and resetted that time.
No score.
Those are nervy darts for me. Those are nervy darts. I wonder if she's thinking that she has to win this game to go through.
I imagine she is. You could feel every single dart she threw there, but she's got a bit of time. Deta really trying to hone in on that treble 20. She does find it on the start of asking.
Kirsi required 24.
So 3 more at double 12. She only needs 1. Kirsi Viinikainen. 2 wins from 2 in Group B. She tops that now. There we go, 71 average, similar to her earlier game in the 70s. 3 from 12. But Deta Hedman just couldn't get herself enough shots at a double. So that leaves Group B as an absolute shootout. Winner takes all for Deta Hedman and Fallon Sherrock. Kirsi Viinikainen, no such problems. She's through to the semi-finals. We head into a short break, and we'll be back after that with a Vicky Pruim versus Bo Greaves.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Line.
They've both got the talent where they just reel off leg after leg, and
dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum.
Well, what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree. Only needs the one.
On the second leg,
What were you saying about efficiency?
on the third leg,
Is that the moment that Rhys Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Game shot on the second leg, Darius Labanowski. Game shot.
Well, Smith is it
Darius
a
Labanowski.
9? A long time, and that clenched fist.
Game shot on the
Oh,
mark.
he gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
Game shot on the fourth flag,
Just like
Darius
that.
Labanowski.
only needs the one. There you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him, and is. It was a great dive.
Game shot on the first leg, Andreas
It's a
Harrison.
breaker throw for Andres Harrison.
Game shot on the second leg, Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw, double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison!
So more twists and turns on the Women's Week finals night, the first ever here at the Modus Super Series. And it's Kirsi Viinikainen, the Finn, who, well, not the best known woman player, but she's managed to win her group, a group that also features Deta, Hedman and Fallon Sherrock, who will face off in a straight shootout to qualify alongside Viinikainen. That will take place after this game between Bo Greaves and Vicky Pruim. Bo got off to a flying start earlier tonight, a 3-0 win over Rhian O'Sullivan. And then Rhian got a comeback victory against Vicky, meaning Pruim now needs to win this match to qualify. Greaves needs a couple of legs to ensure she tops the group. If that happens, then the likelihood is that if Fallon beats Deta, they will meet in the semis. But if Pruim can win this one 3-0 or 3-1, she would win the group.
First leg,
And the
it's
chances of
Vicky
that
to throw
final
first.
between Bo Greaves and Fallon
Game
Sherrock
on.
would still be possible. Not going according to the script so far. Can Vicky Pruim plot another twist here? Let's find out with Scott and Laura.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. And that was almost a perfect start there from Vicky Pruim, who will be throwing everything at this match. And I think she's going to have to beat a player that is playing the way that Bo Greaves is.
60.
I think the pace will suit one another here.
44.
They both like to get on with the job.
Yeah, and now both of them had that game up on the stage. So that element
134.
has now gone. And Vicky was unlucky. She had a really good fight back in that 3-2 loss against Rhian O'Sullivan. Was 2-0 down.
140.
But it was just the strength of Rhian O'Sullivan in that last leg decider, 10 darts. And Vicky would have had to have found a 9-darter to beat her because O'Sullivan had the throw.
59.
Yeah, good look there, Vicky. Just making sure, and that's a great setup shot. Well,
She would have rathered the 17, I think.
yeah.
But she would rather not have had the double 17, so I think she made sure of that.
81. Vicky requires 6.
Yeah, for the opening leg.
No score. Both require 167.
Difficult one there. Should she have 2'd it up?
Well, she's gone away with it, and she's got that option in front of her once again.
81.
She has, but
Vicky
now
requires
that
6.
Bo is so close, it now feels like you're giving a dart away by 2'ing it up.
3.
Yeah, and it's one of those.
Both
It's one of those
require
doubles, isn't
86.
it? You'll want to go for it, but you throw it
Yeah.
very tentatively, because what you don't want to do is what Vicky just did there and hit that 3.
You know what's coming here, don't you?
54.
Another 18 to leave 32.
Vicky require 3.
Lovely setup.
No score.
Oh, and that's unlucky. She's thrown it
Both
high just to
require
make sure, and
32.
just overshot it. So 32 for a breaker throw here for Greaves.
Game shot on the first
So after
leg.
dominating the
Bo
first
Greaves.
leg, dominating it, and 9 darts to,
Second leg, it's
or
Bo to
5
throw
darts to get
Game on.
the job done. It was that one stray dart into the treble 17 that caused all the problems.
39.
Yeah, so as we say, we know that Bo is already through to the semi-final, but one more leg here would ensure that she tops the group. It's going a bit low here for Bo, and that second dart proved to be a bit of a blocker, so had to switch.
60.
After a frantic start, the game has sort of levelled out. Oh no, it hasn't. More. Pity she can't leave 60 as a double at treble 20.
Well, you look at the stats, and I know we're only in leg 2, but they're all pointing the way of Vicky Pruim. 1 100 thrown, 3 140s, 1 180. Just the 2 tons for Bo Greaves at this stage.
41.
Once again, board management there. That one under the treble 20 causes all sorts of problems for her to get by. Bo has the same
92.
problem and
Vicky
moves to the clear
120.
target. Leads to 170. Also hits the 92. Double top for 1-1.
80.
And again, that one
Bo,
was
you
nearly
require
too close, that second dart,
170.
wasn't it? It was a...
Yes, what we do, isn't it? Try and throw it that bit high, but it does cause issues.
60. Vicky require 40. Game shot on the second leg.
This time leaves a more sensible double, and it becomes a more sensible outcome
Third leg,
for
it's Vicky to
Vicky
throw
for
first.
sure.
Game on.
Yeah, and hopefully that will settle her back down, because we're now back on throw. Bo got the first leg, which was a break, and Pruim just broke straight back.
She has opened up with an absolute mare here.
140.
And that was music to Bo Greaves' ears when Vicky just scored
40.
what she did, and now we've got darts bouncing out all over the place and having no luck.
$57.
Again, the same thing, just a bit low for Bo Greaves' liking.
I think the pace is slightly slower from Bo's throw. She's trying to put them in. She's trying to be more deliberate for me.
$90.
Yeah, picks up a big treble there, which was much needed.
Yeah, but once again,
44.
Vicky Pruim did all the hard work in that last leg, and now he's just not able to make the most of it. And another good opportunity for Bo to find a break.
60. $100 by your record, 154.
Yeah, couldn't find that first treble, so just looking to tee something
89.
up, finds the ball.
She nearly threw it.
130
15 was the shot.
by your record, 65.
So now pressure applied to this 65. That's an 8. 17 for tops.
25. Vicky requires 75.
Big opportunity here once again for Vicky Pruim. So 18 for tops herself. And this time does find the target, and it's 2-1 now to Vicky Pruim.
Full flag, it's Bo to throw
75
first.
shot out, and I'll
Game
just
on.
say that Vicky in the last couple of days, she shot out 80, 78, 76, 72, a 90 this evening, and now a 75.
82.
I'd say that's her sort of range.
Well, I think as players and definitely as spectators, you love seeing those big finishes. You like the 160 we've seen from Fallon. We love a big fish. We've had a 132 from Bo. But as dart players, it's those shots in between, those 60 to 70 range. And there you can see the stance of Bo Greaves. Absolutely solid. Very, very
60.
limited movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the shots. The bread and butter shots.
100.
And when you hit them, they're bread and butter with a bit of peanut butter on the top. Because they're good. I don't even like peanut butter, by the way.
99.
No, I'm not a fan. Just pulling a face at you there.
Don't even start me off. Pineapple on a pizza, no.
100.
I will publicly admit that that is always on my pizza.
Well done, you. I knew we had loads in common.
140.
Oh yeah, but this is better from Bo Greaves. Down to a finish now after just 12.
81. Bo we require 120. $44.
This is what Vicky's been doing. She's been doing big shots coming in
95.
to the home
Requires
straight.
76.
Yeah,
Once
that's
again, pressures Bo's 76.
I was going to say the setup play has been very strong from Vicky. Yeah, Bo there missing the single
36.
number, so
Vicky require 85.
Vicky Pruim here staring down 85 for a 3-1 victory over Bo Greaves.
Double 5 for the match.
80. Bo you require 40.
She's had darts every leg in this match, has Vicky.
Game on the foreplay.
I agree. You don't have to give her a second opportunity. That does mean that she
Fifth and
tops
final
the
leg,
group.
it's Vicky to throw first. Game on. $60.
Yeah, and how much will Vicky Pruim rue missing that double 5?
35.
Because Bo started to find her scoring boots, and that treble 20
$95.
not been quite as kind to Vicky these last couple of legs.
$100. $46. 137.
Yeah, that was a good visit, but that could have gone disastrously wrong if she hadn't have found that second, or that treble 20 on the second dart.
60. Bogey required 129.
Treble 20. Doesn't need to go for it, but it is the ball. Doesn't need to, but opts to, and leaves herself on 25 with a bit of time on her side.
Yeah, I follow our YouTube channel because I subscribed and I saw in her quick fire question she always goes for it.
60. Bogey required 25.
Double 8 for the match.
Game.
Yeah, and that is double 8 for the match. Bo Greaves. She was pushed the whole way by Vicky Pruim, and it was a bit of a doubling disaster for Vicky. The outcome, Bo Greaves, she tops the table. See the averages there, 78.5 for Bo, just under a 75 for Vicky Pruim, but it was that 2 from 11 on the outer ring that eventually cost Vicky Pruim, and that does tie up the first group. But we've got one more group stage game left, so do join us after the short break where Deta Hedman will face Fallon Sherrock.
Well, everybody's played their part tonight at the Women's Week finals night, but it all comes down to this for the final place in the last four. Fallon Sherrock having been beaten by Kirsi Viinikainen, the Finnish player, finds herself needing to beat Deta Hedman in what is a straight shootout because Viinikainen also got the better of Hedman, meaning that she has won Group 2 and will play Rhian O'Sullivan in the second semi-final. The winner of this one will take on the Group 1 winner, Bo Greaves, in the first. A huge match here, and it is winner takes all. For the last spot in the semis, it's Sherrock versus Hedman, and talking you through it, it is Scott Mitchell and Laura Turner.
First leg, it's Deta to throw
here
first.
we are. We're game 6 in the evening,
Game
and
on.
I don't think we saw this match coming as a winner takes all, and that's only to be second in the group as well.
Yeah, very much testament to how good Kirsi Viinikainen has been tonight. Okay, average-wise, they're probably not as high as what we would have expected from Fallon or Deta, but as players, you recognise just getting over the line against players in this situation where you're at finals night, it's your first time here, obviously travelled a very long distance, and to actually get those wins, to get across the line, I think that's impressive in itself.
Yeah, I agree. So with that statement, do you wholeheartedly think that once we get to the knockout stage of the semi-final, when it's a knockout, that'll be the situation they're almost used to?
Yeah, it's a different dynamic, isn't it? Because playing in the group stages after the first day, it's never a complete disaster. Never, you know you're going to come back, especially in Group A. Yeah, it can run away from you. It's quite easily done, but you get in those extra opportunities, that extra stage time. You kind of, it's a learning experience as well when you come here. So when you get to those semi-finals, that's what we've played. That's to use another butter reference for you. It's our bread and butter. It's what we're used to doing.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. Does Hedman have a massive advantage here with 58. The short format and having the start?
I mean, yeah, obviously in a short format, if you've got the throw and you can make advantage of it, then 100%. But I don't think we've seen the best from either of them. Deta, when losing 3-2 to Kirsi, she lost with a 66 average, which is way below what we've seen from her so far. Fallon was up just under an 80 average.
39.
If they play to that form again, it goes the way of Fallon.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody wins the bull up on a best of 5 and then says, oh, no, you go first. So that's the advantage, I'd say.
100%.
130.
I mean, if anyone wants to do that against me in the future, then I'll be happy to take it.
170.
Yeah, Phil Taylor used to give the bullseye away when it was first to 3 sets and stuff, but I'm not sure best of 5 he would have done so.
44.
No, and that visit there, couldn't find a treble. Opens the door up slightly here for Fallon Sherrock if she can find something.
140.
She didn't find one, she finds 2.
You require 126.
You're now starting to think this has to go.
Yeah, and I think for me, whoever out of these two does lose the match 42. And obviously exits the tournament here, I think they'll look back on tonight slightly disappointed because they haven't had the performance levels that we've seen so far this week.
42.
And whether that's a mental issue and they've approached it slightly 84. Wrong in their mind. Deta's picking out every treble she doesn't need here in her last couple of throws. Again, I always felt you had to make sure of that single 20 worst case scenario, so had to go at that a little bit more protective than that.
Eight. Deta require 56.
Fallon there, visibly not happy. Ignore that smile. I'm telling you now, she's not happy. She's missing these opportunities.
Deta having to check whether that's in a 16. Fallon's had 4 darts at a double already and squandered them. Deta gets 1 dart and takes it. But isn't that the way with darts sometimes? It's always easier to hit a dart at a double when your opponent is missed. The problem is you take a massive risk by letting your opponent have a go before you do.
86.
Yep, all the work now for Fallon to do.
I think my attitude, if I was in this situation, I was in Fallon's situation, I'd be saying, well, that was just for a chance of a breaker throw. That's what I'd have to. I've got the throw now. I'm going to go 1-1. That has to be the attitude.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that 180 there will go a long way to helping her bring it back to 1-1. I think you've got to have that belief, haven't you, and that confidence. I don't think Deta's particularly looked comfortable up there tonight. Fallon just needs to remind herself she knows what she can do. She knows how often she can hit that treble 20. She's a massive scorer. So if she can just get that business end right around that outer ring, she may be able to find a way.
140.
Physically up the pace now. You can see that she's gaps between darts are a little quicker.
$128. Fallon, you require 95. Game
Yeah,
shot
straight
the
at it.
Second leg. Fallon Sherrock.
She probably had time to 10 that up, 10 or 6 that up
The
if she
leg
wanted
it's
to,
Deta
but
to
no.
throw first. Game on.
Confidence says straight at it. And now Deta knows she's confident as well by going straight at it. Sometimes it's not always what you do in the lift it gives yourself. It can obviously get to your opponent a little bit as well and start make them thinking, oh, she's on it here.
Yeah, I think both players, as you say, picking up that pace. There's a sense of urgency. That finishing line comes round very quickly as Fallon Sherrock fires in her second 180 of the match. And that brings her average so far just over 101.
We write down about significant shots during the week and when the players are playing, and Fallon has taught 4 ton-plus shot outs, but significant other shots of sort of 70s and 80s. She only has 3, but that's because her scoring is so good. She doesn't leave herself out there. It's 56, 61.
134.
Yeah, this is very much improved from both players. And Fallon did threaten that breaker throw in the first leg, doing it once again here. Deta the first one to a finish, but Fallon, if she can find that red bit once again, will leave herself on something very handy indeed.
137. Deta, you require 141.
You would feel that one has to go. She's missed this 141 on double 12 2 or 3 times this week. She cannot afford to miss it now. And you can't miss it any closer than that.
Fallon required 50.
By the narrowest of margins, but 32 now for a 2-1 win to Sherrock. Yeah, and just squeezes it in the corner.
Fallon Sherrock. Full flag, it's
I have to say that is what she does.
Game on.
But once again, she did allow Deta to have a double before she got one herself. And that was very tight on the double 12. 141 hasn't worked for her this week. I think that's 3 or 4 times that Deta's missed the 141 on double 12. But ironically, I think she took out a 144.
61.
Oh no, she missed the 144 on a double 12 as well. It's 114 that she's taken out twice.
140.
And Fallon, she has the darts now in this leg. This is the leg that she's going to want to wrap everything up. She won't want to put it back in the hands of Deta Hedman. Really has made a solid start.
45.
I feel that as a dejected look from Hedman. A millimetre the other side of that double 12, and she would have been the one.
97.
The happier of the two, and the momentum all with her. But lovely killer 50 from Fallon Sherrock, and now it's all about her.
$100. Fallon Sherrock 164.
Yeah, now there's a little bit of time afforded to Fallon Sherrock. Just trying to tee up. Yeah, just checking with the referee what's left.
128.
Yeah, and that's very good play.
So will these be Deta's last 3 darts? And spurt of play in the last couple of legs from Fallon. Sherrock has seen her rise to a
45.
107.24 average, which will probably drop off here because it starts at a double. But she won't worry about that. She'll be worried about the winner-takes-all game. She wins it 3-1. She goes through as runner-up in Group 2. A big pressure situation, and look at that. Look at those average difference. 84 for Deta Hedman and a 103.55 from the Queen of the Palace. Has she finally arrived? Well, she's in the semi-finals, so we will soon see. We'll head into a short break and we'll be back with your semi-finals after that.
Well, plenty to unpick from the group stages here. I've got Laura and Scott to do that. We're going to get the match between Fallon and Bo, but maybe a game earlier than we thought we would.
Yeah, I think we all thought, because of what we've seen throughout this week, you know, that both Bo and Fallon were going to top their group. Didn't quite go to plan, but we said there's going to be some spoilers in there, and I think just for Fallon, it'll be relief that she's made it through that group stage. She's still in the tournament.
And a lot of the credit for that goes to a certain Kirsi Viinikainen, Scott.
Yeah, very much so. She stuck to her task. She's gone around her job. She's averaged about what she's been averaging as a middle of the road game for most of the week. And when those girls came down to her average, then she was the one most comfortable.
Yeah, we'll just recap the results from tonight. This is what has happened in Women's Week Finals night. So Bo got the better of Rhian O'Sullivan. At that point, it looked pretty conventional. But in that same group, I mean, Vicky Pruim, you've got to feel for her. Ahead in the match against O'Sullivan, who wins with a 10-darter, and then missed all those doubles against Bo Greaves.
Yeah, she has been mightily unlucky, as you say. She is such a fighter, a formidable player, and to get 2-3-2 losses, trust me, I know the pain. I had a few of them myself. But to get to this stage, I think that was Vicky's main goal. She was very unlucky, and I think those last leg deciders just forced her out of the tournament.
And Scott, I'll ask you about the player departing the other group, Deta Hedman, losing that match to Kirsi. I mean, having seen Kirsi beat Fallon, that might have actually made her think there's a real chance for me to go and win this group. She ended up not even winning a game.
I think that would have been the idea. I think that would have gone through her head. I think if we'd have been in there and we were in that group and that would have happened to us, we'd have thought exactly the same. We'd have been rubbing our hands going, happy days. And sometimes that can be the wrong attitude to have. And it hasn't worked for her. But I think it was the first game that was the undoing. I think if she'd have played a little better in the first game, averaged a little better, she may have had more confidence going in to the Fallon game. But you can say that both of them sort of never had their best games in the first one, and it was just going to be who had the mental strength or who could get in front. And that 1-4-1 will probably haunt Deta. She's missed it 3 times this week, and she's missed it double 12 on a 1-4-4. So it's not millions miles away, but millimetres the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, those two bouts, certainly not disgracefully good performances from them. But let's talk about the players that are through. What have you made of Bo Greaves tonight?
Yeah, I wouldn't say she doesn't look comfortable up there, but we haven't seen the performances, I guess, that we've just come to think of when it comes to Bo. She hasn't had those big averages. She's been pulling them slightly lower than what she would like as well, so having to adjust. And she has been pushed. I mean, she was very much pushed right to the wire by Vicky Pruim. So, yeah, I think for me, she's just proven that there is a bit of fallibility there. I think the rest of the actual field will think, is this an opportunity?
Is there a sense, I mean, I've never really got that from Bo, but is there a sense of complacency? Because last week she really did up a game against obviously a field of men, but in the field where she is a dominant player, she hasn't quite reached those standards tonight.
No, she hasn't. We touched on it in commentary earlier about being a favourite in a game and not being the favourite. It's much easier sometimes when you're chasing and you concentrate better because you have to be on your game because the player's better than you. I don't think there's anybody here other than Fallon that Bo feels that she probably would have had to have done that. She would have probably been thinking, look, I'm the favourite here. I have to win this game. And that's kind of where sometimes you come off your top game. It's not possible to play that. I think we're going to see an absolute ripper between the two of them now. I think the gloves will be off and we'll see an absolute beaut. They've played each other so many times. First 9 darts or so could be really nervy, but then I think it's going to be fireworks after that.
What an opportunity, Laura, for the other two players, Rhian O'Sullivan and Kirsi Viinikainen. Let's start with Rhian, because she had to bounce back from that disappointing opening defeat. She actually produced the best leg of the night to get herself through.
Yeah, she did. And that's what we've been talking about. That's what we know Rhian can do. At 2 apiece, most people may feel a bit edgy, may feel a bit nervy, but Rhian just found that 10-dart leg to secure, the actual victory which she needed. If she lost, she would have been out of the tournament. So what we're seeing from her, I think if she can keep that confidence and keep that level of play again, any of them.
That 10-darter's got to make her confident. Yeah. She's got to be sat in that back room feeling very dandy indeed, knowing that she needed that last leg. And not only needed it, she then goes and gets a 10-dart. She's got to be feeling really confident. But it is a contrast in styles between the two. It's slow, quick, slow. So it's who reacts to which other one's pace. It really is.
Kirsi Viinikainen, she's a woman that at different times this week has kind of had the expression of someone who can't believe she's even here. But she is here. She's in the semi-finals. And how is she going to keep her emotions in check to try and build on that?
I think it's she's got the experience, like we say. We've seen her play for many years. And I think that is why she takes that extra bit of time sometimes. She seems to be very much keeping her emotions in check while she's playing. And then, as we've seen before, at the end of a match when she beat Fallon, you could just see the emotion pouring out of her. I think she holds it all together while she plays. And then as soon as that's done, then you see the emotion.
It's going to be a contrast, as you said, Scott. Will that be a factor in that semi-final between O'Sullivan and Viinikainen?
Yeah, possibly. And there could be a factor of she's made the semi-finals now. She could be happy with just being to the semi-finals, and that may mean that she'll lift her levels because she'll throw with a bit of freedom. She may have come here and set herself a goal and a target, which was to get to tonight. Anything after that's a bonus. She's now in the semi-finals. Could she actually throw with a bit of freedom? Could she actually make the final? Why on earth not?
We do get that match between Fallon and Bo, so Sherrock playing Greaves in the first semi-final. They probably weren't expecting to meet at this stage. We saw them, of course, play in Group A, Bo winning all of those matches. Fallon did have a run of 5 straight wins against Bo on the women's series last year. They tend to go in streaks. Do you think Bo comes in with a slight edge?
I'm not sure. I think with darts, it is all on the day, it's all on the night. Now, we've seen the kind of standout overall performance in terms of consistency. That's come from Fallon in that win that she's just had. She was just averaging around 107, I think it was at one point, and then finished on a 103. So in terms of stats and the way that she came back in a must-win match, that's been very impressive. And I don't think Bo's found those levels, but Bo would have been sat out the back. She would have seen what's happened. She knows what game to bring. So I'm with Scott. I think it's going to be fireworks. I think Bo, if she can find her pace, she is the stronger player at the moment. But I'm not writing off Fallon one little bit.
And she seems to have played her way into form this week. She was much better on Thursday and Friday than she was Monday to Wednesday, Fallon Sherrock. And she seems to be doing that tonight as well. She really upped her game, didn't she, against Deta there?
Yeah, she did, and like she openly admits it takes her a few days to get going, and she uses it as practice games, and match practice is very hard to come by. And if she's using that the first few days for that, she started to turn up, she started to be here. She'll be disappointed with the first game, but you've got to go in that back room and then start thinking, well, I put myself under an awful lot of pressure there, having to beat Deta Hedman, and I've just come through that, so she should be feeling good.
Is there an argument as well to say they'd rather play each other in the semi-final than the final, just because it kind of is slightly less pressure than the big match at the end of the tournament?
Yeah, perhaps. I think, I mean, I don't necessarily think everyone thinks about when they're going to play someone. For me, it was just, you've got to play the opponent that's in front of you. So that's the task in hand. I just think perhaps from us as commentators, spectators, it's the fairy tale finish if it was the final, but it's not. So you've just got to get on with, the game that's in front of you.
Who's winning it?
If I was playing in that semi-final, I'd be thinking the winner's coming from here.
Yeah.
That would be my attitude going into that semi-final. This is my biggest game of the night, because I think whoever's going to win this one wins it.
So for you, this is kind of in their mind the final.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the final in their mind. The next one, they'd have taken playing either of the other two girls in the final, and that's not being big-headed. They would have done. They'd have been, if you said, oh, you've got Rhian or Kirsi in the final to either one of these two, they'd have taken that all day long.
Right, I think we better sit back and enjoy it.
100%. Looking forward to it.
Hope you enjoy it as well. The first semi-final is about to get underway, and it is the collision of two darting stars. It's Fallon Sherrock against Bo Greaves.
And there is your answer. So our opening match this evening. She won't worry about that. She'll be worried about the winner takes all game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Women's Week, and it's time to introduce the semi-finalists. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage, she is the 2 times champion of the world. It's Bow and Arrow, Bo Greaves! And now would you please welcome her opponent. She is the winner of the 2022 Women's World Match Play. It's the Queen of the Palace, Fallon Sherrock!
Who's telling him to walk that way? So here we go then, Fallon Sherrock and Bo Greaves playing in the semi-finals of Women's Week, the first ever Women's Week here at the Modus Super Series. Many people's final. It happens a game earlier. Only one of them can make the showpiece occasion. Many will think the winner may come from this match, but Rhian O'Sullivan and Kirsi Viinikainen will have a thing or two to say about that. Of course, Viinikainen has managed to beat both of them this week, including Fallon tonight. But Greaves did win all 3 of the meetings between this pair in Group A earlier in the week. Will that trend continue, or can the Queen of the Palace move one step closer to the Super Series crown? Let's find out in the company of your commentary team, Laura Turner and Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, very exciting lineup. And as we were talking about, Scott, up on the balcony there, for me, I don't think we've seen the best of Bo as of yet, but Bo would have seen exactly what Fallon had just done to qualify, 103.55 average. So she knows it's going to be game on, but I agree with you. I think this could be a tentative start. I could be proven wrong. It could be fireworks from the very outset, but this could be edgy as well.
Could the difference be having the darts in such a short format?
100. $140.
Yeah, good to hear the crowd here at the Modus Super Series. They're supporting their players.
100.
Does having the darts make you the hunted and not the hunter?
37.
I think if you're the one that doesn't have the darts, if the first thing does go slightly awry, let's say, if you don't quite make an impact, it's no big panic
40.
because then you come back. It's when you come back with the darts. If that goes wrong, then you're in a world of trouble.
And with that dart on the floor, the throw has been turned in the favour of Sherrock.
100.
Yeah, Bo just knocking the dart out of her hand.
78.
Yeah, she used that last dart well because I think that annoyed her because it's upsetting the pace. Well, she didn't have to go for it, but that is an opening 1-2-4 from Fallon Sherrock. And that is a breaker throw.
Second leg, it's Fallon to throw first.
More than that, it's a statement. More than that, it's the 5th ton plus shot out for her in 3 days. And more than that, the break of throw now gives her the advantage.
And I wonder how much of an advantage it would be for Fallon, who's just come off the back of that win over Deta Hedman. It was the last game before this semi-final, so she's coming in pretty much match ready, very much warmed
58.
up. I know it wasn't much longer before when Bo was there, but I don't know the confidence that she's maybe bringing into this match.
No, still a more than valid point, actually. Yeah, you're right. Still a more than valid point because she'd have been out there just throwing at the board, probably. While Fallon was here playing.
59.
Yeah, Bo just missing those treble 20s by the narrowest of margins. Fallon Sherrock looking for a 3rd consecutive ton plus score. 134, 134, 140, down to 93 in just 9.
That 1-2-4 on the ball definitely gave her the momentum.
140. Fallon, you've got 193.
Double 16.
Game shot.
Yeah, and that.
4 and now 93 goes as well. The average for Fallon Sherrock after a couple of legs, 125.25.
Yeah, that's 2 consecutive 12 dart legs for Fallon Sherrock.
57.
Queen of the Palace has definitely
99.
brought her A+ game to this one. Well, we are on the London road here.
60.
Yeah, and a bit of frustration just creeping into the game of Greaves. And you do have to say it has been for Bo,
80.
a couple of weeks down here. in Portsmouth. Yes, she had the advantage of having those couple of days off by topping Group 8. But then you're coming back into this arena and you're not maybe as match ready as people that have played in Group B and Group C.
One thing I do know is that this young lady, Bo Greaves, does never make an excuse for anything.
81.
She plays her heart out, whatever it is on that day, and if it isn't enough, it isn't enough. She tries to make sure it's enough the next time, but she needs something here. She needs a big, big treble, or she does it with that last dart just to keep her in touch.
$60.
Yep, Fallon just reaching for that last dart. I should say, Bo, you feel it's going to have to keep finding a treble. Does find it again, last dart of asking, and is the first to a finish.
Well, when she's finding it last dart, that'll be music to Sherrock's ears. If she's finding trebles first dart, then she still has two in her hand to find more.
100. Well, you're 134. $41. Fallon, you require 81.
Double 16. She steps back, has a good look, and nails it for a 3-0 win. What a brilliant performance from Fallon Sherrock. It was the big game everybody wanted to see. Sherrock takes that 3-0, 107.36, her 5th ton plus of the week. I don't think you can argue with that. Emphatic, absolutely emphatic, 100% on the doubles, 3 out of 3. Games don't come much better than that. We'll head into a short break and then we will return with semi-final number 2 with Kirsi Viinikainen playing Rhian O'Sullivan.
Well, only at Women's Week here at the Super Series does a 10-time world champion casually pop up for a chat. Trina Gulliver, delighted to have you here with us this week and tonight. And what a night it's been so far.
Oh, amazing darts all night. And, they've done ladies' darts proud.
You've got to feel a little bit for Bo Greaves, of course. She wins her group, Fallon Sherrock doesn't, and then she runs into Fallon, who puts in 107 average.
Well, that's just amazing, isn't it? That's Bo didn't find a game really tonight, and Fallon's just played an absolute dream there. That's absolutely outstanding.
We've seen in recent times more and more things come in play for women's darts. The PDC Women's Series may be the first of them. Now here, for the first time, we have a dedicated Women's Week. You've been part of it. How's it gone? How have you felt?
I think it's been absolutely brilliant this week. I've really enjoyed it. I think all the girls have, and it gives us another platform to play on, and we're enjoying it. And it's thanks to Modus that have given us this opportunity, and it's been great.
Just on your own experience this week, particularly in Group C, you made a really good start, didn't you? And then Deta and Rhian just kind of got away. How would you sum up your week?
Yeah, I started off well, and then Deta and Rhian, I fell at the last hurdle kind of thing with them, and but yeah, it's I think I've played all right this week. I've played pretty well, and so I'm happy, kind of happy with that, but also disappointed that I didn't qualify. I couldn't keep it going.
And just back on tonight, of course, with Fallon and Bo meeting in one semi, it presents an opportunity for somebody else. We'll talk about those two players. First of all, Rhian, she really turned it on earlier tonight, got a 10-darter in a deciding leg, so she's shown that she can mix it with anybody.
Well, she can. Rhian's been around for a long time, and, she's a quality dart player, and she's shown that all this week.
And if she does get through, she'll just be happy not to be meeting you in a big stage final.
I've met a few times in the Lakeside World Championships, so she'll be glad about that.
And Kirsi Viinikainen, maybe lesser known to some of our viewers, but I know she's been around for quite a long time. She really has produced some shocks. She's beaten both Bo and Fallon this week and finds herself in the semi-final.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Kirsi from way back, playing in European and World Cups. And this, to be fair, I think she's a better player now than what she was back then. So she's having a good week as well.
Have you got any thoughts about the way you see it going, this one?
I think Rhian might just pop this one, but you never know, because Kirsi's playing so well and she's taking her time and playing well under the pressure. So, it's going to be close.
Well, let's hope so. Well, who am I to argue? Thanks for joining us. A pleasure to have your company.
Thank you for having me
this week. And certainly, if there's a next Women's Week, we hope to have you back.
I hope there is.
Well, hopefully there will be. I'm sure there will be. It's been fantastic so far. But the second semi-final of this one is about to get underway. Is Kirsi Viinikainen against Rhian O'Sullivan.
On the second round.
But you cannot knock the way she hit the double 8. In any game. And that's a 10-darter to win the match from Rhian O'Sullivan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Women's Week, and it's time to introduce the second set of semi-finalists. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage from Finland, it's Kirsi Viinikainen! And now, would you please welcome her opponent from Wales, Rhian O'Sullivan!
So, semi-final 2 about to get underway for the right to face Fallon Sherrock in the final. This is the penultimate match of a very successful Women's Week. It got Trina Gulliver's approval, so that is good enough for all of us here at the Modus Super Series. But which one of these players will be taking their place in the final? Will it be the player who lost 2 World Finals to Trina Gulliver, Rhian O'Sullivan, the Welsh woman, the speedy slinger, or will it be the more methodical, thin Kirsi Viinikainen, who has been on the circuit for some time but is playing the darts of her life, and she could end up having the day of her darting life come the end of this evening. It will be a real contrast in styles, as discussed by our top-notch commentary team, who are waiting to guide you through this one. Back to Laura and Scott.
Cheers, Murph. I hope you've got out of that headlock that Trina Gulliver had you in there. She's pretty adamant she wants another week here, so that was lovely to hear from Trina, and yeah, quite rightly, a big opportunity for these 2 girls in semi-final number 2. An opportunity knocks. Who is going to be kicking the door down? Will it be O'Sullivan or will it be Viinikainen?
Yeah, you can almost hear a pin drop at the start of this match, and
60.
I think I'm with you, and what you were saying before is that does Kirsi throw with this additional level of freedom? Now she's made the semi-final. They're into knockout stages. They know this format so much better. Or is the pressure of being within touching distance of the final and then the actual whole event, can that prove a bit too much?
$96.
Well, she's changed nothing about how she's going about her business, has Kirsi. She is going to play that
100
pace, and that's what she's done all week, and that's the success she had to get her here. And I'm all for slow and steady win the race brigade.
You don't say, Scott.
26.
They could even put a stair lift in here to get me to the commentary box, and it'd still be faster than me coming up the stairs.
140.
What I will say with Rhian, obviously they've met a few times this week already. Rhian will be very much aware of the pace of Viinikainen. I think when you're a speedy player and you do play someone that is at a slower pace, however, that can affect concentration. Obviously, we talk about the rhythm, but it can actually, it gives you more time to think in between throws.
41.
And you know, sometimes you don't want that time. You just want to get on with the match.
Absolutely, and because it's an individual sport, and you do bump into a sort of slower player or a faster player, whatever, because we're dart players, we think me, and we're thinking that they're doing it to put me off. That's how everybody thinks. They don't look at the situation and say, well, no, they've been doing it for 10 years.
140.
I've got to deal with it. No, they go, oh, it's me, doing it to me on purpose. And that's anything. That's taking your time at the water table. That's doing anything. Players have their own little traits. All of them are different.
Indeed, but that last visit there from Rhian O'Sullivan offers up a really early opportunity for this break. She will need a breaker throw if she is going to progress to the final.
Game shot the first.
Rhian does find it. And that's 1-0, Rhian O'Sullivan.
Second leg, it's Rhian to throw first.
Puff of the lips there from O'Sullivan. Knows how important that break is, but Kirsi Viinikainen has been in
140.
the last World Cup semi-final out in Denmark for Finland. I believe she was defeated by Deta Hedman, I think.
Well, she most definitely got her revenge tonight. Kirsi beating Deta at the group stages 3-2.
140.
I think it's quite hard to argue that opening match between Rhian and Bo. A bit tentative for Rhian. Didn't actually get a shot at a double, but really did come back in some style to beat Vicky Pruim 3-2 to secure a place here in the semi-final.
83. 41.
Yeah, Sullivan really has upped her level a bit in this match. Lost that opener, as I said before, with an 82 average. Had an 83 in that victory over Vicky Pruim. Averaging just over 90 at the moment, almost 15 points clear of her opposition.
She's not far off the averages that she's been doing all evening, though, is Kirsi. She's been very consistent.
I'd say some of the results for Kirsi tonight have actually been dictated because of the way that her opponents have played against her. She's just been there to sweep up those opportunities. And it's full credit to her because you have to create them, then you have to take them.
Yeah, Rhian's been on that 82, 83, 84 mark in her first 2 matches. She's now just shy of 88. So she's upped it a little.
90.
She's come to the party.
Rhian require 40. Game show on the
2-0 lead for O'Sullivan. A good hold of throw. Is she final bound?
Delegates Kirsi to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, and if Kirsi Viinikainen has got any nerves, you don't tend to see them. I do think she does keep everything very calm in terms of her approach and the way she is at the board. Everything's in check. That's quite a hard skill to perfect.
No, I totally agree it is.
40.
It is very hard to stay still when somebody's outside you rattling your cage. She does at times just throw that little quick throw in for a couple of throws as well to change things up a little.
41.
It's just whether that's a conscious thing, if that's actually a decision, because sometimes when you get actually wrapped up into a game, you get slightly embroiled, and then that can affect your throw and your style. I say it's only nominal, but actually it has wielded some good results
60.
for Kirsi when she sped up.
Yeah, it's been working this leg up to now.
60.
Sullivan won't be too bothered here. She knows she's got the throw in the next leg. Or maybe she would target that, but you fear doing that because then if you get to that next leg and have a poor start, you just offer it up to your opponent, don't you?
Yeah, she found herself in this situation earlier against Vicky Pruim.
60.
Against Vicky Pruim, sorry, where she did go into that 2-0 lead. Vicky then clawed it back. And okay, it was a superb leg, but that doesn't happen every time.
No, it sure doesn't. So treble 20 will leave double top here. And
23.
Just disappointed with that one, but we do reiterate that it's a lot easier setting up when you're a couple of legs in front than it is when you're a couple of legs down. And the young'uns of the world now will go 19 tops, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think ball management, I think if you can get that nailed as well, if you know the shots and you know the routes to go, and even just setting up those big finishes, it's those small margins that are making all the difference.
59.
Well, she stayed fairly safe there on those last 2 darts to make sure that she sat on 40, knowing no matter what, O'Sullivan does to her, scoring-wise. She knows she's got 3 darts to take the leg and hold throw. That is so tight.
No score.
She went safe with the first one, really went with the second 2. A big number is missed there by O'Sullivan. So that means Kirsi, and again, means Kirsi is going to get another 3 darts at this tops, which she won't have been expecting to do.
No, could be relief here for Viinikainen, just to keep her hopes alive. Needs double 10. Yeah, and this time does find double 10. Now we're at 2-1, but Rhian O'Sullivan just needing the one leg now does have the advantage of throw. And we've seen what she can do when she has it.
Yeah, Viinikainen's double stats are 1 from 5, but all 5 of those have been in this leg. And O'Sullivan is 2 from 4, and obviously those are from the 2 legs that she won. And here we go. It's a great start on her own throw, putting Viinikainen under the cosh already. But have we seen this week? She doesn't mind being woken up now and again.
25.
Yeah, and you just saw that nod in the background from O'Sullivan. Just, she's one of those players that when you play against her, she does acknowledge good darts from the opponent. She's very generous with her praise when you are playing against her. I can't do that necessarily. It kind of puts me off, but I do appreciate it.
Well, that's in Rhian's makeup, that is. She's always been like that. I think, was it Sam Curtin turned her over on the England game with a big shot to finish, and she was just so pleased for Sam. Just a genuine nice person.
Yeah, very, very much liked and respected on the women's circuit, on the dart circuit in general.
60. Rhian number 126.
Yeah, a little bit of exasperation there from O'Sullivan. Very unlucky not to have found that treble, but she wouldn't have had to have gone for the ball. But the reaction there tells me I think she probably would have.
Rhian, you require 72.
So will it be 16s? No, she goes 12 route. Double top.
32.
First chance to win the match goes to O'Sullivan.
Yeah, Viinikainen, she's going to want to find something big. Can't find that first treble. So more incoming match-winning opportunities for Rhian O'Sullivan.
140.
Pressure well and truly applied, and even then Rhian O'Sullivan is still tapping her leg saying well done.
Yeah, and you can just see when they have got that additional bit of pressure and it's a match-winning opportunity. Not always easy to convert, and we could be at 2 legs all, and then it's advantage Viinikainen.
No score.
First one was a wild one, and the second one
Rhian, you require 10.
was an over-adjustment.
Game
Straight for it, double 5. We thought maybe she'd have gone for the 2, but no. It's a 3-1 win for Rhian O'Sullivan. We now know our finalists. It will be England versus Wales. A dry smile there from Rhian O'Sullivan. You can see she was on an 88 average for a long time in that game, but got penned back and embroiled in what was a tense, nervous, headache finish. So our finalists will be Fallon, Sherrock and Rhian O'Sullivan. We will head into a short break and we will see the final on the other side.
So the final is set here, the Super Series. Rhian O'Sullivan will take on Fallon, Sherrock. Scott Mitchell, you've been watching the action tonight, and we've got two players that had a terrible start to the night that have managed to find themselves to the final.
Yeah, that can be. We come into it saying that the finals night is sort of the be all and the end of it, and the Monday to Friday is the floor show to just qualify for the big show. And they both kind of froze, didn't they, on their first games? It was, with all the experience that both have in big games, you would have thought that they would have lapped it up. But the lovely thing about a game of darts is you have to remind yourself sometimes of the things you've learned in the past. And I think both of them had that situation tonight in the early game.
Yep, it's not about your start, it's about how you finish, and both players have certainly shown that to be the case tonight. If you look at the results from this evening, you'll see that Rhian O'Sullivan went down 3-0 to Bo Greaves, the almost impossible position, but then managed to come back win against Vicky Pruim, capped off with a 10-darter before Greaves beat Pruim, and it meant that O'Sullivan went through alongside her. Fallon Sherrock a shock defeat to Kirsi Viinikainen in the group. That then meant that she needed to beat Deta, and she did with 103 average, but then has to play Bo Greaves in the semi-final. What about that performance from Fallon? 107 and change in the semi to see off Greaves.
Yeah, it was a little nervy to start, but then once Fallon got that leg, it was away she went, and the Queen of the Palace on the London Road, as I said at the time here in Portsmouth, she'd got the job done, and just was in the right mental place at the right time. I think sometimes having that first game and having a bit of a loss, it does remind yourself that, hang on a minute, I am human. I've got to apply myself a little bit here. And yeah, she was just emphatic in that 107, just emphatic.
And the start of the show tonight, we spoke about the comparison between Bo Greaves and Fallon Sherrock. Their highest average of the week was both around that 107, 108 mark. So even though Bo had been more consistent across the week, Fallon had the same ceiling, and she ended up showing it in the match against Bo.
Yeah, and it was actually the ceiling was in the match that it had to come out in. That's the biggest thing for me. It came out in the right match, and it was 3 from 3 on the doubles as well. Everything was top notch, and it has to be. It has to be to trouble Bo Greaves. You have got to have your A+ game to trouble Bo.
Will Bo Greaves be a little bit troubled now? I know she's sat out in the audience now watching the rest of it, but it's 2 weeks in a row where she's been here on a Saturday night and lost in the semi-finals despite being the favourite before a dart was thrown.
Look, I don't think she'll overlook that. I think Bo is probably more of a glass half full type person than half empty. I believe that she has to stay that way because that's how you go on and keep winning and keep winning and keep driving yourself. If you start thinking you're glass half empty and you keep coming down on yourself like a ton of bricks, eventually you do destroy your own confidence. So it's not a good thing to be had. I think she'll be fine with it. I think, like any other player, you need your 10 or 15 minutes, and every time she sees somebody, and she'll open with that. But I think deep down, when the sort of dust is all settled and she gets into the start of the week, she'll look back at the last couple of weeks and think, yeah, that could have gone better, but it could have gone an awful lot worse as well.
Quickly on the other player that lost in the semi-finals, Kirsi Viinikainen. I mean, she's going to have to look back on this week with incredible pride.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she should have an open-top bus around Helsinki for me. I mean, for the Finnish lady to come here and make a semi-finals, we know she had the credentials. She played great at the end of last year. Here we are, middle of the year again. In the following year, she lost in the semi-final of the World Cup to Deta, who then went on and lost to Bo, ironically. But yeah, they should be making things of her over there, and she will be encouraging the younger players over there. This is a massive thing for Scandinavian women's darts, in my opinion.
But Rhian O'Sullivan got the job done. She's been sensational at times this week. Other times it hasn't really gone her way. But we've seen those moments tonight that suggests she could spring a surprise in this final.
Well, the 10 darter, I mean, nobody else has done a 10 darter this week. We're talking about averages, we're talking about 180s, we've talked about all sorts of things. But the 10 darter this week came from Rhian, and she'd have gone into that. The way that I said in the break earlier about Bo and Fallon would have been thinking, well, the winner comes from here. Rhian would have been in the other half thinking, wow, what an opportunity to get to the final. And if we get to the final, anything can happen because it's a final. You never know what's going to happen. And she's actually handled that mental side of it very well to win that game 3-1 and put herself in a position to really put Fallon under the cosh if she can.
Right, I'll get your prediction for the final in just a moment, but we'll break for a second and have a look at next week's action here at the Modus Super Series, because it is the start of Series 8, and the first week features Martin Adams, a 3-time world champion, along with Chris Gilliland, the former Super Series runner-up Tom Sykes in Group A. 3 ADC players as well, including Bradley Roos, who was at Champions Week, and then we've got Group B with Jamie Kelly, Justin Smith and Andy Hamilton, Stephen Johnson, Martin Turner and Jack Mayle in Group C. Not a bad start to a new series, Scott.
No, absolutely not. And don't the series just come around quite quick now? You know, how are we on Series 8 already? It's become a stalwart of the darts industry now, this Super Series, and everybody's wanted to play it. Another new series starting with a lineup like that. Who doesn't want to play in that? And
I'm going to give it a bit of an exclusive here. I've had a chat with the powers that be, and Fallon Sherrock, of course, she's played in Super Series before, so has Bo Greaves. Rhian O'Sullivan, having reached the final, she will be invited to the main series. That's a nice little exclusive for you there, Scott.
Absolutely. Does Rhian know?
Not yet. No, we don't want to tell her before the final, of course. Yeah,
keep it to ourselves.
Keep it quiet until afterwards. But just quickly on the final, which way do you see it going?
I think Fallon wins it. I mean, just on averages alone and setups. But it's a final. Anything can happen. Me head says Fallon, but my heart says that Rhian can do it.
And Rhian has won the ball, so does that change things a little bit? It's only still a race to 3 legs.
If she goes 140 off the bat, yes, that does change things a little bit. But I think Fallon's at a place where she's not worried whether she's got the ball or not. I think she'll just more concentrate to get her game out there. I'm not writing Rhian off in any way, shape or form. She's a former world finalist on 2 occasions. So, look, she has the pedigree. But my head says Fallon and my heart hopes for Rhian.
Perfect. Well, we'll let you go and enjoy it. The action is about to get underway. Maybe not the final everybody was expecting, but two deserving darters in it. It's Fallon Sherrock against Rhian O'Sullivan.
And nails it for a 3-0 win. What a brilliant performance. Went for it, double five. We thought maybe she'd have gone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Modus Super Series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is Women's Week, and it's time to introduce the finalists. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage, she's a 2-time World Championship finalist. It's Rhian O'Sullivan! And would you please welcome to the stage her opponent. She is the winner of 17 PDC Women's Series titles. It's the Queen of the Palace, Fallon Sherrock!
Green light, let's get it. I'm the future, I'm in it. Check score, I'm winning. Green light, let's get it. I just win. I'm on 10.
And so it all comes down to this, the final match of Women's Week here at the Modus Super Series, the inaugural event, and it will be back, I feel certain. But who will be the first winner of it? It won't be Bo Greaves, that we saw sportingly giving Fallon Sherrock some encouragement during the walk-on there. She was beaten by a fine performance from Fallon in the semi-finals. But Rhian O'Sullivan, who was beaten by Greaves 3-0 in the first match, has forced her way through as well. A final appearance for her against the Queen of the Palace, the former World Match Play champion who had those incredible moments on the biggest stage of all. She has played in a Super Series final before as well, lost to Moreno Michels a couple of series ago. Can she finally get her hands on the trophy, or will O'Sullivan be taking the silverware? We're about to find out. It's another race to 3 legs, and guiding you through it for one last time, it is Scott Mitchell and Laura Turner.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chris. I'm very much looking forward to this. A whole week of play from both these players.
60.
Both started out on Monday in Group A. Fallon found herself in Group B, topped that. Rhian O'Sullivan finished second in Group C to secure her place here in the final.
97.
It has been a whirlwind evening, I'd say, for both of them. It has been mentioned, neither had the ideal start. Rhian O'Sullivan losing 3-0 to Bo Greaves, but finding a fantastic performance. It included that 10-dart leg when she beat Vicky Pruim. And Fallon lost to Kirsi Viinikainen, but found again just that next level against Deta Hedman and came out a 3-1 winner. For me, just the way that Fallon's kind of played off the back of that disappointing opening match for her. 103 average, 107 average. If she can find anything like that, then she's going to cause Rhian a whole lot of trouble.
She is, but Rhian tends to have the better player that she plays, the higher the ceiling she has.
60.
Yeah, and it was interesting to hear when Trina was talking earlier, she's come back and she thinks that Rhian is actually a better player now than what she was when she did make those 2 world finals.
Yeah, I would agree. I think she's got better bounce back ability now. I think she could be behind in games and then disappear, and she doesn't do that now. She's been around a bit now. She knows that isn't the case, and
36.
If you keep plugging away, you will get chances.
Yeah, we're talking of chances. This is a chance here for Fallon to find an early break, and she does find it. Third dart of asking.
Fallon Sherrock.
And once again, you just see that generosity from Rhian O'Sullivan clapping that dart as it goes in at the end.
Game on.
Yeah, 15 dart breaker throw. So now you would say It's advantage. Sherrock.
60.
The bullseye in the back room now. Kind of eradicated, but it's not a proper break until you hold your own throw.
60.
Yep, totally agree. She's going to have to back up that break with another strong leg here.
96.
I had noticed a couple of days ago that Fallon used to play in trainers, and now she's gone back to her little sort of slip-on dolly
100.
shoes. And I'm wondering if that's a conscious thing she's done lately.
Yeah, not to get into the realms of footwear too deeply, but especially for the female
96.
players. I mean, I started off playing in stilettos. You know, they're all very fashionable at the time, but then when you start doing tournaments that last 2-3 days, yeah, your feet do start to suffer. And
123.
it was throughout COVID when I started to kind of lower the heel level and now play in trainers. It is an adjustment.
It's called getting older, my love.
Stop it.
48.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's probably quite true.
60.
Yeah, good to see some of the players still sat there watching the others. Deta in the crowd, Bo sat there in the front.
57. Rhian record 158.
Double 19. Yeah, and that's an absolutely fabulous finish there from Rhian O'Sullivan. 158. And it goes back to what you said. That break now proves irrelevant because we're back on throw with Rhian with the darts.
And you would say the momentum is with her as well, and that's got to give her a massive lift and confidence. And you have to play on confidence. You can practice and practice and practice all you like. If you've got no match confidence and don't believe you can do things within a game,
100.
then you can't win matches. And talk about belief there.
158.
I remember doing one of those in 2015 in a final.
We're going back down during the war? No. Joking, I'm joking.
56.
It was a long time ago. You were still wearing high heels back then.
Yeah, I was.
60.
Yeah, I can spy Gemma Hayter in the crowd as well there. She's just recently come back to playing darts, and wow, she's made an amazing impression in her
97.
first couple of women's series.
Yeah, I did see my dear old pairs partner from back in the day, in my early days. Steph Smead was here in the crowd as well.
Yeah, she made a World Championship semi-final.
Yeah, beating Frances Honsler in the quarters back in the days where there was only 8 ladies.
140. Rhian record 101.
Trailblazer for Hampshire she was.
45. Fallon require 100.
We saw that spectacular 158 from Rhian O'Sullivan to level it up at 1 apiece. Fallon now staring down a 108. Finds the treble for double 18.
90.
And just pulled it low.
Rhian require 56.
So, big chance here.
36.
It's gone begging.
Fallon require 80.
That is close. Can she use it as a guide?
9.
Over adjusts. So
Rhian
Rhian back to the
20.
hockey for double 10.
I bet she didn't think she was going to get another chance to get
Game
back.
shown
And
the third.
wow.
Rhian O'Sullivan.
These are chances
Well,
that are
it's
being
Fallon
offered
to
to her
throw
by
first.
Fallon,
Game
from
on.
Fallon missing.
Yeah, Fallon 1 from 7 on the doubling stats. Rhian 2 from 4. And that sometimes can be all the difference.
96.
Yeah, it can be. She gets a fair few of
21.
those, doesn't she, that just drop out because of the pace of the dart hitting the other flight. There we go. There's Gemma Hayter there. We just saw her and shot.
140.
But we know Fallon Fallon Sherrock definitely has levels, and she's definitely one of those players that likes to be the first to do things. First woman here hit the 9 darter. She hasn't yet won a week, and I'm sure she'd love to put her name on the first Women's Super Series.
57.
Yeah, there's no better thing to do than put your name on a trophy for the first time.
100. $60.
And just trying to lift that over the top. Overshot it slightly, and Rhian back in the treble 20.
100. Fallon require 148.
Just doing enough to keep herself interested. A right smile there from Fallon.
60.
Almost perfect adjustment.
Oh yeah, but going very much unpunished here from O'Sullivan.
21. Fallon require 88.
Can't leave the finish.
Not leaving a shot. That is a cardinal sin from there. Even 45 would have left a shot.
63.
Once again, Fallon going for it. A quick fire freshen. She said she always goes for it.
Yeah, but O'Sullivan really now tapping on the shoulder of Sherrock.
25. Game shot number 4.
Composed. Pressure. What pressure? Sherrock just dispatches that.
It's Rhian
and she's down the dog and duck on a Monday afternoon having a practice.
That's one thing that I've consistently said ever since we saw her step up against Ted Everts back in 2019.
140.
As Rhian almost makes the perfect start to this deciding leg. Composure. Fallon has got it in abundance.
59.
What a last start find that is. Now the bull up, and winning the bull up is coming to the fore.
96.
Yeah, that last start from Fallon keeping her in contention, but O'Sullivan is punishing the treble 20. Down to 1-2-1 in 9.
Mahusive 140.
Round of 121.
Double 18 for the title. Couldn't have got any closer. She will be back.
Yeah, can Fallon put any kind of pressure? She needs to find a treble, and she knows it.
97.
Yeah, it does fine, but O'Sullivan back for the title.
She takes it, she wins it. It's Women's Week winner, Rhian O'Sullivan. You won't find a more popular winner amongst the ladies than Rhian. What a game from her. She just stuck there around that mid-80s average. She's been doing it all evening. And wow, the 158, what a game changer that was. And there's your winner. She's holding onto the table now and having a good swig of water. I think she's surprised herself there, but just a word for Fallon. What a game that was. Takes 2 to tango.
Rhian O'Sullivan, 82.61 for Fallon, but it was that 3 from 6 for me, including that wonderful 158 checkout, which made all the difference. And it is the Welsh captain, it is Rhian O'Sullivan, who lifts the first ever Women's Week title here at the Modus Super Series. Loved the reaction afterwards. Very much Rhian. And I think we can go down and join them on the stage with Chris Murphy.
Yeah, we certainly can. Thank you, Laura and Scott in commentary. Rhian, a very popular winner. Just try and sum up for us how you're feeling.
I am more shocked than anything else, but I'm delighted to win this, yeah.
Obviously, it's our first ever Women's Week here at the Modus Super Series. You've been through some ups and downs. You had a day where you didn't win a match. You had a day where you won every match. Just tell us what a roller coaster it's been for you.
Oh, absolutely up and down and everything else in between. But amazing experience, and I hope we get invited again. So
we certainly are going to have another Women's Week, but I can also tell you that having won this week, we're going to invite you to the normal Super Series as well.
Amazing, yeah, great.
I can assume you're going to accept that invite?
Yeah, well, hopefully I win some games in that one, but yeah, happy.
And just on tonight, obviously you started tonight by being beaten 3-0 by a certain Bo Greaves down there. You've had to, she's apologising, but you've had to bounce back from that. Just, there's so many good stuff. You've done a 10-darter in the next game as well. You've just got that ability, haven't you, to turn it on at any time?
Well, yeah, I think so, but no, I've enjoyed it, and I've said to myself, right, one game at a time, one leg at a time, because the standard of the ladies here this weekend has been, week has been amazing. So.
Yeah, 12 top players, you're the one that's come out on top. How proud are you of this achievement?
I am over the moon with that, I gotta say. I can't believe it. So.
Congratulations. We'll let you lift the trophy in a second, but well done. We are now going to hand you over to our MC for the presentation, Owen Binks.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you please show your appreciation for the very first ever Modus Super Series Women's Week champion, Rhian O'Sullivan! Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your Women's Week champion, Rhian O'Sullivan!
Well, Rhian O'Sullivan enjoying that fabulous moment, and what a moment it was for her as well, in a week that has included Fallon, Sherrock, Bo Greaves, a 10-time world champion in Trina Gulliver. She is the woman who's come out on top. Laura Turner and Scott Mitchell alongside me. Laura, what a moment for her.
Oh, absolutely. I'm absolutely thrilled for her. And I was just saying to Scott, the reaction afterwards, she was just like pointing at herself saying, me, I've done it, I've got over the line. She's such an unassuming player, and one that I think we all hold in such high regard, across the women's circuit. And yeah, I think everyone's absolutely made up for her.
We can see a few of the other players in the audience there. Fallon, obviously graceful as she left the stage, but Bo Greaves was sat there. Deta Hedman, she seems very popular amongst her peers as well.
Yeah, I think she always has been. I think she's one of those that is, because she's so, I think, unaware of how good she is. I think she believes it when she's up there, but she doesn't take a compliment well. She's not, I don't know whether she's not used to them, but she's always been that good, and it's just, sometimes you feel that she needed to win something big. Maybe back in the day it might have been that World Championship where Trina was stopping her. Is this the one now that's going to make her believe? It's Women's Week. It's the first win. If she's not believing now, she never will.
Yeah, she's done something here, winning with this field of players, particularly with Bo and Fallon in the field. What does it do for, well, the likes of you, the rest of you, to see that it's not just those two that are going to have to share all the titles?
No, it's great, isn't it? And I've always said it, I think the depth of the talent that we've got within the women's game, it's getting better and better, stronger and stronger, and that's just a proof of that. The front runners to me still always are the likes of Bo and Fallon who are here, but you've obviously got Lisa Makuru. I could list off loads, and I'm probably going to miss someone off, so I'm sorry if I do. But yeah, just to see her lift that title just goes to show that the gap is narrowing. The rest of the field are trying to keep up, and every so often that something like this happens.
And the news, Scott, that she's going to play in a normal Super Series, she could end up in your group. You've got something to fear there.
Do you know what? I said exactly the same to Laura when we went off air. I thought, I bet she's in my group. That'd be my luck. Look, I think it's great for her. I think it's great for ladies darts to have somebody else as well, another face in amongst the Super Series. It really is good. We've had Makuru, we've had Bo, why not have Rhian? She's proved that she can be there, and who's going to want to play her doing those 158s?
Yeah.
Not me.
And at that pace as well, it really is sort of easy on the eye, isn't it?
Oh yeah, she's wonderful to watch, and if you're a rhythmical player, as we said before, I think her pace lends to like those very exciting watches. The 158, it was actually one of the only times I think during the match that she took a little pause. She actually stopped, but used it to good effect. I think she just knew it was a big moment and possibly a game-changing moment because her confidence grew and possibly just knocked Fallon's ever so slightly.
Right, let's just recap the results from this evening. Fallon Sherrock and Rhian O'Sullivan both lost their first games, but they were the two that ended up in the final. It just goes to show the beauty of the Super Series, really. A defeat doesn't mean a disaster.
No, and it proved it tonight, as you say. I think you want to go out there, you want to do well, you want to win everything. It makes it so much easier for yourself. But I think for both Fallon and Rhian, I think the way that they dealt with the loss came back even stronger. It just felt like it was actually meant to be towards the tail end.
Strange little things happened tonight. Bo Greaves twice now has lost in semi-finals 2 weeks in a row. I know she has won a week here before, of course, to get to Champions Week. That's Fallon Sherrock's second final defeat on that stage as well. Both of them will be really disappointed, won't they, Scott?
Yeah, nobody comes here to lose, do they? You know, nobody. When the prize money comes out, nobody looks at the third place prize money. You always look at the top one, and that's the way it is. Yes, she'll be disappointed, but like I said earlier, she's one of those glass half full type people that, you know, yeah, she'll be disappointed for a day or two. After that, she'll be fine and she'll take the lessons from this and remember them. That's the worrying thing with her.
Yeah, and of course people have talked rightly so about Fallon and Bo in the build-up and throughout this week, but the moment belongs to Rhian, doesn't it? How much sort of praise can you lavish up on her?
Yeah, as much as you like. How long have we got? Honestly, like I say, she's an absolute joy to be around, but also what she's producing on the Oki, it is fantastic, and it's good that she's been able to find that form because she was really nervous. She made a really tentative start to Group A, found herself in Group C, which is notoriously one of the toughest to get out of because it's 2 from 6. Played much better in Group C, found her feet, and okay, she was a bit nervy in her first game tonight, but like I say, the bounce back ability that she's got that perhaps she wouldn't have had a few years ago, that's what's shining through. And yeah, I don't think there's anyone that wouldn't be made up for her.
And don't forget, the Welsh darting community don't need too many excuses to have a party. They'll be on that one tonight, that's for sure.
This is the latest in a long line of very, very good Welsh darts players as well, so there'll be a lot of pride, won't they, back in Wales?
Yeah, absolutely, and they're a nation that back their own. They never knock their own, they back their own. And that's why she's come here and done so well. And that's why they all wear that lovely dragon on their sleeve. They're proud to perform and be part of that as a nation. And they're only a little nation, but they've got big hearts.
I just want both of your thoughts overall on the Women's Week in its entirety. So I'll start with you, Scott. You've been here in comms and doing some punditry. How much have you enjoyed it and how much of a boost has it been for the women's game?
I think for me, hearing the women, how much they've enjoyed it, the girls that have all been involved, the fact that, you know, Katie Sheldon coming here, she was like a box of frogs, wasn't she? She was just so in awe of what was going on here, and it was so good. And then to hear the ladies talk about each other, going, yeah, we're always in the room together, but we don't often sit together. So there's another dynamic to what the Super Series brings to the practice room, and I just think that it's been a success. The viewing figures have been great on YouTube. I mean, we've got to have another one of these.
And you've had every aspect. You've been part of it in comms on Monday and here tonight, obviously playing Thursday and Friday. Just give us your overall assessment of the week.
Yeah, I can't really add too much more really to what Scott was saying. I think, you know, from my point of view, first time I've ever had the opportunity to play here. You don't know what you're going to do when you turn up, and I found it a wonderful venue to play in, and like you said, it's nice to actually get to know some of the women a bit better. We've all had like really good camaraderie in the back room, which is it makes it conducive for, you know, a really comfortable playing environment. So from that point of view, it's been fantastic. But as a spectator and a commentator, wow, these women have really put in some performances, and like Trina said, you've got to have another one.
Well, we will see about that. You guys have been fantastic company. Thank you for that. We may well have another Women's Week here at the Modus Super Series after the success of O'Sullivan in this one, but next week we've got a whole new series coming your way.
Champion